Alrighty, everyone. We are here. It is the season 2 finale. Can you believe we're already here? Where did the
No, it feels like we should have episodes left to do.
Where did the time go?
We have season 3.
Yeah, I know. Technically we have them, but we don't have them.
Yeah. I can't believe we're here.
No, me neither.
It feels like that song from the Buffy musical, Where Do We Go?
Right.
From here.
Also, yeah, side note, where is our Motherland musical episode? What the hell?
Yeah.
Is that Revolution Part 2? It's like a musical.
Yeah, I need Taylor with a guitar.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We just resolve everything with a music episode.
Perfect.
It makes sense to me. But yeah, this episode is like, truly, it's like the best of times and the worst of times. That is this episode.
Did you just get Dickens on me?
I did. Is it not the truth?
It's the truth. It hurts.
It does.
It hurts good.
Yes, this is like the torture episode for the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with that, we're going to do something weird. And we're going to start right now with what was Isadora doing off screen. Because before we even get in this episode, what was she doing? The first time I watched this episode, I died. And Isadora brought me back from the afterlife so I could do this podcast. Because this episode is just the best and the worst, and it just kills you. So thanks, Isadora.
Isadora.
Bringing me back from the afterlife.
Miracle worker.
She's a miracle worker. Exactly. So everyone, thank you, Isadora.
Yes. Thanks, Isadora, for not making me do this episode alone.
No one should watch this episode alone. It's too much. Or talk about it.
It is too much.
It's so much. Yes. And who do we have to blame? But Elliot and Brian Studler. It's the dream team for just killing the audience. Elliot and Brian wrote it, and then Amanda directed it. So it's the dream team.
I love you guys, but fuck you.
Yeah, so fuck all of you, but also thank you. You had to create Isadora so she could revive the audience after you slayed us.
I think Isadora could revive the entire audience without touching everyone, obviously.
Yes. I'm sure she does it unconsciously all the time. She doesn't even know what's going on. But thank you for Revolution, Part 1. Rude title for a season finale.
Thank you! No, I was like, wait a minute.
Right. I saw that and I was like, what? Are there 11 episodes maybe? No, there isn't. They're like, no, this is it. Part 1. And
I hate it here.
Oh, but it was worse. If you remembered, dear audience, it was worse watching this because we didn't know if there was going to be a season 3.
Yes!
Which made it worse.
I was like, you did not do that to us.
I was like, how dare you? How dare you, sir? Because if you're naming it Part 1, I'm like, well, there's obviously going to be a giant fucking cliffhanger and nothing will get resolved. And what if it ends? What if? Isadora
no one could have revived me.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yes.
The brain cell.
Yes, Isadora could not have brought us back from the afterlife if they're just like, and that's the end, guys.
We would be like, no.
We would have to...
I would bypass the mycelium, collect nothing, and just be in the ground for the rest of eternity.
Yeah. So, thanks, guys. But we're not there. There will be a season 3. There will be more episodes. There will be a Revolution, Part 2. Someday. Someday. It has been filmed at this point, but we don't know when it will be live. But when it does, you will hear us screaming from around the globe.
Yes, and you'll actually get to hear us scream like the first time we watch it, not us rewatching them.
Oh my god, there's gonna be so much screaming. We need to figure out how we're gonna do this later, but it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, editing's gonna be fun for you.
Right, it's just gonna be, wow, another scream I have to delete, another scream. Wow, we scream a lot, Jesus. Lesbian Jesus. Hydrate yourself. Hydrate for yourselves for the editing that I'm gonna have to do with those episodes to save your ears.
Please send Theora your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. All right. Well, that's what we all have to look forward to. But this episode is awesome. Let's get into it. So, the opening scene is it kind of picks up pretty soon after where the last episode left off with like the witch plague being released and like everybody running all over the place. So it starts with like the Sekhmet Coven regrouping and I guess Adil's there. And they're in the woods off on the outskirts of like Fort Salem and like kind of where all the chaos is happening. And M is basically like leading the Coven and is on the ground tending to a fallen witch that was killed by the Camarilla, and it wasn't through the witch plague. Her vocal cords were removed. So, like, the Camarilla has two things going on. They have the witch plague that's wreaking havoc and just killing witches, and then they're, like, harvesting vocal cords, like, in the background. So, they're capitalizing on the chaos. And after M does, like, closes the witch's eyes and, like, probably does, like, a little silent, like, fallen for the dead thing, they order the Coven to head to the operations building where they're hoping the witches on base that are like left leading everything are strategizing on like how to handle this attack. So like instead of being sitting ducks, they can fight back. And so M's like, all right, guys, let's go. We're going to the operations building. And they start marching along the grounds and they march past this building and they kind of pause to stop and like we can see inside the building like the lights are on, there's like obviously like confusion and fighting happening and we can hear like things shattering and witches doing wind strikes and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? And Rael puts it together that like, wow, like the witches are losing control of their vocal cords so they can't fight back, hence all the shattering and like crap that was happening in there. And then we get a closer look at the building and out from the big window, like on the second floor, this massive black witch plague, like, slithers out of the window and, like, onto the ground. And this thing is, like, humongous. It's massive. And so it's, like, it's basically, like, they took care, the witch plague got whatever witches were in that building, and now it's, like, on the hunt for more witches, essentially. And Rael rightfully panics because that's terrifying as a witch who's standing.
And also, ew.
Yeah, it's gross. Fuck this thing. So it's just, let's get out of here is the right call for so many reasons. And she's like, we gotta go back where we came. Fuck the operations building. Like, we're gonna die. And to make it worse, as this, like, witch plague is, like, dripping down on the side of the building from this window, Albin just walks right through it, unharmed and not proud of himself because it's not gonna hurt, you know, a civilian. And that's his baby, his feisty bugger or whatever. And his face emerging from the witch plague triggers Abigail immediately. And she's like, fuck this, I'm not running. I'm going to claim my vengeance right here and now. And she starts stalking towards him, but like Rael stops her before she can like take 2 steps. And she rightfully reasons, look, Abigail, I get you're pissed and who wouldn't want to make harm to this man? Like, look at him. But we can't fight anywhere near that witch plague without dying. And you know that. That would be suicide. And Albin doesn't need to hear this conversation, but, like, he knows what's going on. And he's, like, smug about it. He's like, yeah, I know, you can't touch me. I got my witch plague, baby. And he recedes back into the wall of the witch plague, like, symbolizing, I'm untouchable because I have the upper hand. And the tendrils of the witch plague cover him up, and then they just start slithering closer and closer to the Coven. So it's got their scent, and it's, like, coming after them, basically. And they slowly, as a collective, start back up. They back up away, and it just, like, cuts to the opening credits so that we, the audience, can catch our breaths and go grab our box of tissues because Elliot and Brian are about to do us dirty with this episode. It's gonna be sad.
Yep. I have one more comment.
Go.
The dripping witch plague from the building reminded me, like, all I could think during this scene is nacho cheese from hell.
Like falling out of a window. Ew.
Yeah, I'm like, somebody's devil nachos.
Devil nachos? That's what the Camarilla go eat after their missions. They go to that bar that Shane and, like, what's-his-face are at, and they get devil nachos and beers. That's what they're doing. That's disgusting. I hate it.
It is zombie devil nachos. I'm not here for it.
It reminds me.
The bad thing was.
Oh, no, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go. Go.
I was just gonna say I had nachos from Taco Bell before I rewatched this episode. I blame it on that.
I mean, is that not devil nachos?
Yes.
It just doesn't look like this. But, you know.
This is just not black.
It's not black. It reminds me of...
It doesn't have white men coming out of it.
No. Nobody... Listen, that's what makes it the true devil nachos. There's the smug white dudes coming out of it. It reminds me of, if anyone's ever had, like, a squid ink pasta before.
Yes!
That's what it really reminds me of. But, like, this is way worse and creepy as fuck. And, like, squid pasta doesn't try to kill you. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
That's the good zombie spaghetti. This is the bad zombie spaghetti.
This is the bad zombie biscuit. Like, this is the bad place. This is the bad zombie spaghetti. Oh,
yeah.
God.
No zombie biscotti for us.
You stay away from that shit. Don't. We're all allergic. Stay away.
Yeah. I'm allergic to awful, bigoted, conservative, cis white men.
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, I'm allergic to zombie spaghetti and white men. So it tracks.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to everything in the scene.
Yeah, like that scene can go like
fuck itself.
I'm gonna go into anaphylactic shock from that scene.
Where's Isadora?
Isadora, do you have an EpiPen?
Wait, we need a necro. No, fixers can't save us. We need a necro. We're already dead.
There's only one necro I want.
Isadora. Actually, no. Scylla's not on Fort Salem right now. She can't save you.
I know, but still. All right.
Anyway.
So from that insanity in my head, we're gonna go to General Bellwether. Mm-hmm. So we open with a top shot of my favorite, Magda, outlining positions on a map while somebody listens to her. I have no idea what they're talking about, but it looks official and cool. And like every World War II movie I've ever seen where people are planning things.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're just pointing at maps and saying they're doing whatever it is. Army stuff.
Exactly. Army stuff. So we pan out to the wider view. This was the room where that warding circle was.
Yeah, in the Necro Lab, I assume.
Yeah. I assume.
Yeah.
It also kind of reminds me of the classroom, Magda's classroom.
It does. It's just like that room wasn't bathed in green light and this one is, but like they do look similar. You're right.
Yeah, and the office behind it is what made me like think of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, wherever we are, assuming they're just reusing sets because they need to and dressing them differently.
Yeah, we're like, this one is green. It's different.
Yeah, totes different. Use your imagination. Yeah. So this is when we first get to see Isadora looking all official and
oh my god,
she looks hot in this scene. Like I'm kind of into Isadora in this scene.
It's combat Isadora. Give it up for combat Isadora.
Combat Isadora
with her scourge at the hip. I know. Woo! This is why I died so many times during this episode. Yes, it's hot in here. Is it not hot in here? Woo! It gets hotter as the scene goes on.
It does.
Thanks, Isadora.
I guess we just have a thing for women in combat like situations because everybody's all business. Because we got Anacostia.
We do.
We got. Then Petra comes in, so Anacostia is giving Petra a report. The witch plague is contained to isolated sectors, but it's spreading. We have multiple reports of strike teams harvesting vocal cords, which we saw one of those unfortunate victims earlier. And communication is spotty because of the Camarilla's dampening devices. So all of these things are not good for the witches.
No.
Oh, so Petra says, we need to go on the offensive. We need small groups, stick to the shadows, pick your targets wisely, and let's take back our base. Which sounds great.
It does. Very raw army.
Raw army. And then Alder steps forward to ask how she and the biddies can help. And Petra tells her to go to officers' housing with Anacostia and round up everyone they can. And there's a moment, Petra and Sarah have a moment here where Petra thanks the general and they just kind of like acknowledge that Sarah is respecting Petra's power and going into a role where she's helping rather than commanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awesome. It just goes to show you, like, Alder's, like, while she was in charge for so long, she's like, I get it. I respect the chain of command. I want to help the army. That was always my intention. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So she shows her humility and her humanity.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm down.
Yeah.
Sarah makes Alder makes a point to call Petra General.
Yeah.
And just, like, makes that point twice. I think she says it twice.
I think you're right.
So Nicta gets brought in, and everybody in the room gets even hotter.
Oh, God. I'm not going to lie. I was losing my shit for, like, 90% of this episode. It started here. It started, like, okay.
She's, like, Theora's over there passing out with the sapphic vapors going on.
It's Nicta and Petra. Oh, God.
Yeah. So Nicta gets brought in, and Petra's like, you're coming with us. And then, like, there's this poor aide that comes falling into the room, clutching her throat, and she just, like, falls, like, on the ground. And the Camarilla guys come in behind her. And so they're like, oh, shit. And Nicta's like, at least give me a scourge so I can, take some of these people out. Because she still has her silencing collar on.
Yes, she does.
So she does. So the other witches in the room start to fight the Camarilla dudes, and they pretty much get taken down. But that's when Nicta steps forward and grabs the scourge of one of the fallen witches. And they, everything kind of stops for a second. And you know that shit's about to go down. And of course, that's when they change the scene.
For homophobia. Yeah. They're about to, like, tag team, kick some Camarilla ass, which is fucking awesome.
And I'm here for it. Badass!
It's super badass. And I think it's really cool, a lot of the scene, because to go back to, like, the Alder thing, I think it's really so significant that she's acknowledged, like, in this moment, she's like, I'm acknowledging you, Petra, as the leader in front of other people. So, like, that would help the troops rally around Petra during this crisis. Exactly. So it only helps the situation. And then here, Petra has the, I can't think of the right word, but basically, like, she, in this split second moment when, like, they're about to battle, is like, Nicta, whatever the fuck you did, whatever, fuck it, like, help us fight. It's just like, help, just help. It's fine, whatever. We can deal with our bullshit later, because I was ready to kill you, like, 5 minutes ago. But now it's like, cool, whatever, help us fight. It's just like, how very quickly, like, in this situation when it's like, okay, it's them against us, all of us, includes Nicta, let's all fight together. Like, it's really cool the way that happened so quickly.
It really is. Like, they're just like, okay, witches unite.
Yeah, perfectly said. Yeah, I think a lot of scenes in this episode, I'll point out the ones that I'm doing. Like, a lot of this is just like, let's unite. It's like the conclusion of the scene in a lot of those scenes. Yeah. So it's bigger picture stuff here that's happening.
Yeah. Like, it's obvious that in order to defeat these people, you can't, like, they can't be fighting each other anymore. This is about how, I mean, I think some people had some issues with how quickly Petra jumped on board with, like, Nicta. I don't think she trusts Nicta. I think that she sees the writing on the wall about how Nicta is a witch, and Nicta's goal has always been to get, to do things for the witch community, whether it, and their goals align now. So obviously, correct, she's gonna fight with them.
Yeah, it's like it took the boogeyman being real to unite them. That's what it took.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like desperate times, basically. And it's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. That's what happened in this scene. So it's not like out of character for Petra to do this. I feel like that's where people had an issue, but it's really not. She's like, strategy-wise, there's 2 witches now who can both fight against whatever's about to come through that door. I'm not stupid. Like, just help me fight. Sure. Here, she left the silencing collar on Nicta. She didn't take it off yet. She's like, let me see if I can trust you. I still have my magic. You don't. Here's a scourge. So.
And she actually said this is not a reprieve.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I'm still mad at you, but here, take this weapon and help me kill some bitches. Yeah. So it makes sense. She's not just like, yeah, you're free, like, to go. No, Petra's doing this slowly, like testing Nicta in this moment. It's kind of like a little test.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there you are. So good. So while Petra and Nicta are about to tag team, meanwhile, on the grounds of Fort Salem, M is still leading the Sekhmet Coven towards the operations building. So they escape the witch plague and they're still trying to get to their destination. And along the way, they spot a group of Camarilla goons in an alley harvesting vocal cords of some poor witches. And they kind of stay concealed around the building while they kind of figure out what to do. And Abigail and M immediately are like, they're out for blood, fuck hiding, let's kill some bitches. And M starts strategizing and barking out orders of what everybody should do. And while that's happening, Tally's supervision kicks in, and she notices the exact frequency of the Camarilla work that's dampening the witches' work. And she takes it upon herself to try something out. And before anyone can stop her, she steps into the alleyway and shouts, "Hey, Camarilla!"
Best line of the episode.
I know. And she gets shit for it later, rightfully so. And the goons are like, why the fuck would anyone say that? And they slowly look at her like, what is this girl doing?
What is this person?
What is you? And Tally starts singing this high-pitched tone that eventually disables the interference work from the Camarilla breastplate devices. And she targets the guy that's closest to her. After she's able to disable it, it allows her to wind strike him across the alley, so it restores her work. And Tally's like, holy fuck, I can't believe that just worked. This is awesome. I've cracked the code. And then orders the Coven to match this tone, and basically they all do what she just did to the rest of the goons in the alleyway. Together, by doing this, they are able to take out the rest of the goons successfully. So now the witches have a way to fight back using their goddess-given work, which is wonderful.
Yes.
When it's over, Abigail then appropriately gives Tally shit for that line, "Hey, Camarilla," what the fuck was that, girl? And Tally's like, it's all I could think of. Tally's not good under pressure.
No.
Or the witty comeback one. Yeah, exactly. She's not the wordsmith. Rael would have been better. She would have said some sassy shit. And Abigail just would have said, fuck you. So that's where we're at.
Yep. It's like, guys.
It's so Tally, that line.
I don't know. It's so Tally, and I love it, and I love her face when she does it.
Yes.
Also, another scene where Tally's sight is invaluable, and she actually figures out... this is huge, because these devices are a big thing that's preventing them from really fighting on any kind of... getting any advantage, I should say.
Yeah, it takes away their advantage, and it equals the playing field, because the witches don't have a way to dampen the bastardized work without, removing the vocal cords.
Dampening their own. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so it does that, and it also, call back to Tally's name, clarity is basically what it means. She had the clarity in the moment of crisis to, solve this impossible task, and did it, and executed it well, and it literally changed the tide of the battle.
If I was in an escape room, I'd want Tally on my team.
Yes, that would be unfair to have Tally on the team. Because Tally's like, it's there! The people in the room monitoring are like, God damn it, fuck this bitch. She keeps ruining all our things. Gotta design this thing again? You're banned. Anyway, so... while Abigail's chastising Tally about her word choices, Rael takes the brain cell from everybody and is like, listen, we need to tell as many people as possible about this because it literally changes everything, like we were just discussing. So afterwards, they're like, great, let's spread the word. M takes Gregorio to go spread this message and leaves the unit and Adele to keep making their way to the operations building. But before they part ways, a bunch of het stuff happens. Gregorio and Tally semi-reenact Rael and Cilla in the woods from the prior episode. No, listen, it's the same. Because it's be safe, you too, forearm touching, eye contact. There's no making out, but it's basically that scene. Are you fanning yourself? It is not hot in here. This is the opposite.
No, it's not hot. I'm just I'm laughing too hard.
Isadora!
Comparing those two, it just...
Is it not the same scene? It's be safe. You too. Eye contact.
It is, but without the chemistry.
Yes, without the chemistry. Exactly. Elliot, dear, you're missing the main point of why that other scene works so well. This one does not. But we're not done with the het stuff. So after they pull a Raylla, then Adil makes out with Abigail out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
We have to fill our het quota!
Yeah, it's like, fuck, this was too gay, so hets do stuff. So they make out, I guess, to meet the quota, and then when that's over, Abigail tells him to go find Khalida, and, like, when I was watching this, I was wondering, what the fuck was happening with Khalida, and why has no one mentioned her up until now? So, good on you.
Wait for it! This is my time.
Oh.
Since you said that.
Yes. Go.
What was Khalida doing off screen?
Yes. Oh, yes. What was she doing? Tell us.
Okay, listen.
I'm listening.
So, you know how Libba has a shrine
to
Abigail?
I love that you're bringing this up. Yes, I do. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, Khalida has an anti-shrine.
Oh, yes! She burns it down by the end of the episode, I'm sure, but...
So it's in that little room that she stays in and she just sits in front of it and meditates about how she's gonna steal her brother back from Abigail.
Yeah, she's trying to break them up and try to manifest it with this anti-shrine.
Yes, she's manifesting it with her Abigail anti-shrine. Thank God she chills out by the end of the episode, but
God,
you know...
So that is what she's doing off screen. You are 100% correct. She also has a mini anti-Alder shrine next to that. And she's like...
Oh, absolutely.
And by the end of this episode, she's like, well, that worked too well.
Yeah. She kills a plant every time she thinks Alder's, you know...
She goes into Alder's witch garden and kills one of her plants as the sacrifice.
Every time. As the sacrifice. To manifest Alder's demise or whatever.
Oh, I love it. That is so what Khalida is doing off screen. I love it.
Because she has a petty streak, obviously.
She does. No, it's her inner child, or like, and by that I mean her actual age coming out, because she's like 12.
Thank you.
This is okay behavior for her.
I was going to do it later, but since you said
that.
No,
here's where it's at. That's what's happening. Khalida's tending the shrine, and they're like, oh, fuck, where is she? Let's go save her. But she's totally fine manifesting the end of Abigail and Adil's relationship.
Mm-hmm. She's like setting roses on fire, you know, basically cutting up pictures of them.
Who took the pictures? Why are there pictures of them? She took them.
She took the pictures clandestinely because, you know,
it's true.
With the technology of the time, they're using those Polaroids. Cha-ching! And then it comes out the end. And she shakes it, waits for it to, and then she takes it to the shrine, the anti-shrine, I should say, takes a pair of scissors and cuts it in half.
Drops it on her
and then
candles.
Burns the Abigail side.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's what's happening. She's Khalida. I love it. That is what she's doing off screen. That's canon now.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So, apart from that, we're gonna follow Anacostia and Alder and the biddies into the officers' quarters, and they're just basically standing over a dead witch in her bed with her vocal cords removed. And then we start to see they walk out into the hall. There are dead witches everywhere. It's terrible, and I hate it. I don't like. This is dumb. It reminds, again, I'm going to reference Buffy because it reminds me of the scene from the episode Hush, where the creepy dudes are going from room to room in the dorm.
Oh my god, I didn't even put that together. You're right. Hush vibes. Oh, that's such a great episode. But
it is such a great episode.
There's one thing I do want to say about this particular shot when they're in the hallway. So yeah, Buffy vibes. I agree. I love the colors here too, because it adds to the creepiness. Because when they're in this hallway, like everything is so bathed in blue, except at the far end of the hallway, there's red, like red light, and it's almost like this contrast of like ice and fire, like contrasting power kind of vibes, like war and death, like the blue and the red. And so I love that. And then when the Camarilla come in, like they come from the red, so it's like this, like these contrasting big titan powers is what they're showing with this light. So I do love that. I love the way they light this hallway scene in particular. It's awesome.
That's awesome. I did not notice the red. I'm really happy you pointed that out because it makes sense why it's creepier now.
Yeah, no, it's like normally it's like pretty muted when they do that with the lights. Like at least when it's like blue, it's usually very deep blue, and then the other light that's opposing is muted. But here they're both like very saturated, so it's this very big contrast with the colors. If you didn't notice it, go back and look at this hallway scene. It's really powerful the way they lit it.
I'm gonna do that later.
Yeah,
but,
that's awesome.
As Theora said, a Camarilla unit walks out into the hallway.
Spoiler, sorry.
And Anacostia is like, "What do we do?"
Girl, kill those bitches.
And Alder's like, "We fight till our very last breath."
Which was the war cry of like the American Revolution. Like it gave me that those like Braveheart vibes, like the kind of line you would give.
I needed her painted in blue woad and like
right. That's hence the blue light. Yeah, it's Braveheart.
So,
but better.
They get out their scourges and they kind of back away, back into a room. But if you pay attention to this room they backed in, it's actually a series of connected rooms, and this is where the director really does a great job and smacks you in the face with this awesome fight scene.
Yes.
Going from room to room, but you as the viewer are out in the hallway seeing through the windows and missing little parts of it where there are solid wall in your way. So you're seeing you're going back and forth between being like you're in the hallway and you're seeing this fight happen from far away and through glass and wood, and then you're seeing this fight happen right in the middle of it. And basically what's going down is Alder is kind of whipping the shit out of some Camarilla dudes because she can fight like nobody's business.
Yes.
It's super hot.
Yes.
Go. Anacostia is beating the shit out of some Camarilla guys.
Hot.
Also hot. Go. Get it. But unfortunately, one of these dudes has one of those, if you recall back to the episode where Rael was kidnapped, they had those darts that made them pass out. Well, apparently they have put witch plague in those now. Yep. So one of the biddies gets hit with a witch plague dart, and that witch plague spreads like crazy. It takes over that biddy, it takes over all the other biddies, and so Anacostia ends up pulling Alder into another room, closing the door and drawing a sigil on it, which makes the paint flake off with whatever power she's used. I don't know if it's supposed to just lock the door or make the door stronger, or we don't know what it is, but
that's different.
Yeah, it's different. We haven't seen that before. So interesting. But I also want to point out that one of the biddies, the last biddy to go down, looks back at Alder and Anacostia and just nods. Like, it's okay.
I think she says go. Like, she actually...
Does she?
Yeah, it's the first time that biddy ever speaks, and she says go. Like, to Alder. Ah! Yeah, I know. It hurts even worse. Yeah.
God damn it, I could have gone my life without knowing that.
I'm so sorry. Isadora!
Oh, God.
Yeah, anyway, it hurts.
So,
it hurts.
The biddies sacrifice themselves, and then we get Anacostia with tears streaming down her face. Dimitri is trying to kill me now.
Dude, so much crying from her this episode.
Oh my God, I can't with her cry. When I see Demetria cry, it's the worst.
It is
like
the worst.
All my feelings, because you never see Anacostia break down like that.
Oh God, yeah, it hurts the worst watching her cry, for sure. And it's like not just like a tear, it's like sobbing.
It's sobbing.
Yeah.
She sobs in this episode. And I'm not here for I want to hug her and also like beat the shit out of everyone that's ever hurt her.
I know.
So, Anacostia is bawling as Alder ages before her eyes, and she asks Alder what to do. There's a lot of Anacostia asking Alder for direction, and that just sets up the fact that she's not going to have that mother figure.
Yeah.
To give her direction, orders, all of that stuff, to be her mom, basically. So she's going to have to do, you know, she's very capable of making her own decisions, obviously, but it's the thing of she's losing her mom.
Yeah. Again.
And she's going to feel directionless and vulnerable and like
a little lost.
Yeah. There you go. So she's asking for directions.
Yeah.
And Alder just puts her hand on Anacastia's face and like passes out.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Very well said. That's exactly what's going on.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's poor Anacostia. Like, she takes us the hardest.
She does. I'm gonna mention this. I'm gonna start the train on this, but as Alder's aging, she's turning into motherfucking Groot.
Yeah, this is Alder Groot.
Just saying.
Listen, I have a theory about why she's turning into a tree that we'll talk about in our season 3 spec episode. But yes, this is Groot Alder.
Groot Alder is here, and
she is here. Whether we like it or not.
Listen, it's the elephant in the room. We all need to talk about it.
We do. We have to acknowledge you cannot look away or deny.
No.
This is Groot Alder.
So I remember the first time I watched this, I was feeling so many feelings because of Anacostia, and then I was like, what the fuck happened?
Right. And then
there's a fucking tree in this room.
There's a hard turn. I'm like, what? What is this? So I was pleasantly confused for the next episode, the next scene that happened.
What in the barking hell?
Right. What in the witch hell is this? But yeah, that definitely happens. I want to say one last thing about this scene.
Please do.
Personally, aside from like the Alder weirdness, I personally really hate that the biddies are gone. Like, I hate it. Because
I do too.
It was, honestly, when I watched this show for the very first time, the biddies were one of the aspects of the show I loved the most. Because it was one of the first times ever, correct me if I'm wrong, where I've seen, well, not from my perspective. If you have other perspectives about this, let me know. But it was one of the first times for me I've ever seen a group of elderly women just being badasses and being written and depicted as powerful women. That never happens. They're usually just these...
No, God, it never happens.
Yeah, they're usually just these background people, if anything, or they're like the wise grandma. And like, they don't really have a play and everything. But here's a scene where you have these women over 60 kicking ass. Like, when does that ever happen? Ever. So I loved...
and being heroes.
Yes, and remember Memorial Hall with Tally? Like, they're considered heroes. And they're considered to be very held up high in the society, not for being wise or whatever, but they're seen as capable and like fighters and still soldiers. So I loved so much that the biddies existed and that there was a diverse group of older actresses who were able to play characters with, like, kicked ass. Like, when does that ever happen? Like, I respected that choice so much. And I personally am very upset that the biddies are gone because I loved them as a collective. I'm very sad.
Yeah. I get narrative-wise why they needed to go, but I'm with you. I'm really super happy about the whole having biddies on, being badasses and being just... man, I imagine that being an actress of a certain age is difficult to find roles that are in any way, shape, or form have meat to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I found this so revolutionary. Like, for exactly what you just said. That's why I love the fact that the biddies existed. So it makes me sad that we won't have them around or have like actresses of that age being so prominent. Maybe we will. Maybe the Dodgers have like elderly women who kick ass. Let us hope. But R.I.P. to the fallen biddies. Thank you for your service. And thank you to all those actresses who played the biddies. Like, I loved all of you. You guys are awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
We actually have little nicknames for all the different biddies.
Fuck yeah. So. We love you guys.
Ah.
So after that super devastating scene and confusing ending with Tree Alder.
Good Lord.
We'll come back to that later. We hard cut back to the war room or whatever that room was where Petra and Nicta were like prepared to face off with the Camarilla. And it starts in another super hot way with Petra just snapping some dude's neck, which, okay. So, they don't
snap my neck, Petra.
Oh my god, it's like they don't let you breathe. It's just like, oh my god, we're here now. What's Nicta doing? Nicta is behind her with the scourge, not kicking ass, but just like watching, like, all right, girl, you got moves, awesome. And Petra like joins her back in the center of this room and yells at the goons standing by the door, like, what the fuck are you guys waiting for? And 1 second after she says this, she gets her answer. Because Albin is creeping around the corner, and he announces, oh, they're waiting for me. And he struts into the room like he owns the fucking place, flanked by even more goons. So now, like, basically, Nicta and Petra are super outnumbered, and Albin's here. And Albin's like, well, you know, I'm here because I wanted to pay my respects before the inevitable. And, yes. I'd hate him more if it wasn't Bob playing him, but...
I know!
I know.
Bob,
fuck you, Bob.
Has made it
but not
impossible.
Really. I know. I love you. I love the way he delivers all his lines, to be fair. It's so dramatic and awesome. Like, good on you, Bob. It's amazing. He makes him so theatrical.
Yes, theatrical.
It's great. It's fun.
Stop!
No. We're linked now because Isadora had to revive us too many times.
Exactly. Pretty much that's what happened.
That's what happened. Thanks, Isadora. After he announces this dramatic, cryptic phrase, Petra's like, whatever, you must be the doctor I heard about so much and fucking hate. And he confirms, yeah, I'm Albin Hurst. So we get his full name. And he's like, pleased to meet you. And he does this little wave, like the one the Queen of England does when she's in motor carriages, like at the wrist kind of thing. It's like this weird little wave that he does. He's a dramatic king, is all I'm saying.
Yes, he is. Good Lord.
Good Lord.
Yes.
Good Lord. That was Bob, not Albin, doing that. Mm-hmm. And Petra, just wave pisses Petra off. And Nicta is beside her just confused. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on because she's just like learned the Camarilla was a thing like a couple minutes ago and that they're alive. And she's like, who's this doctor? Like, what the fuck is going on? Why is he waving? So
why is he waving?
What is his wave? I'm the dramatic one.
Why is he doing the queen wave?
Yeah, why is the queen waving? She's confused. And Albin like sees her and starts addressing Nicta and he thanks her, saying no one in history has ever done more to turn the tide of public opinion against witches. But you, Nicta Batan, thank you for helping pave the way for the return of the Camarilla, because they were once feared by the masses as this boogeyman, and now, thanks to you and the spree killing civilians and being the new boogeyman, the people are going to open us with open arms when we come out of the shadows. And we're going to be heroes from saving them from the big bad witches. So thanks, bestie.
Why don't you just punch Nicta in the face?
He basically did. And he made an enemy for life. And now I hate you, Albin. Again, because you hurt Nicta. Mm-hmm. And her face journeys from general confusion to just being shook as fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Because like you said, like, this is a punch to the gut. Like, this hits her really deep because here's a woman who dedicated her entire life to trying to liberate witches and fight the system. The irony of all of that in this moment is that Alvin is shoving that back in her face and saying, hey, without knowing it, you unknowingly played this role of bringing the Camarilla back and played right into their hands by the methods you use as the spree. You actually helped the system continue and made it worse and more extreme against witches. So poor Nicta, like in her 30-year quest with the spree trying to seek justice, actually made it worse for them and kind of not reinforce the system, but almost reinforce the system needs to change, but against the witches. So it had like the complete opposite effect of what she was trying to do. The Camarilla just capitalized on what was happening with the spree because they've been around for hundreds of years. But when the spree stuff started happening, they were like, hey, we can use this to our advantage, rally more people, and shift public opinion to make them more anti-witch. And hence how we got that the Not Our Daughters movement. That was them like manifesting like into the public and normalizing their agenda, basically.
Yep.
After devastating Nicta, which fuck you, Albin addresses Mama Bellwether, his words. So he's been listening to this podcast. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, Mama Bellwether, just FYI. After this, I'm going to be going after Abigail and her little Tareem boo. Because the union of earth and sky must be prevented at all costs. Petra's like, what the fuck does that even mean? And excellent question. Put a pin in this because we're going to use a bunch about this in our season 3 speculation stuff. But this Earth and Sky thing is key dialogue, and it's definitely going to be a plot point in season 3.
Keep it in mind.
Yeah, Earth and Sky. And the way he recites it to me, it sounds like this prophecy kind of thing. But we will muse on that.
Uh-huh.
And Albin, true to form, like Bob, is spoiler free. And he's just like, he gives her this face like, I don't know what that means. Guess you're gonna have to find out for yourself. Then after that, he about faces and ordered the minions in the room to wrap this shit up. And as he's leaving, Petra gets this distorted far speech message. And I think it was M's message saying, I think we figured it out, match the tone or something like that. Which, how does Petra even know what the fuck that means? But she does, apparently. And before, like, she gets a smile on her face, and then she unlocks Nicta's silencing collar. So, thank you. And then Nicta rips it off. And it's the hottest thing in this whole scene. The way she's just like, whoo, I'm free. Thank you, Arlen.
Yeah. Theora's like in the floor at this point.
I died so many times. Isadora was busy off screen, is all I'm saying. Yeah, anyway, the Nicta choices. But anyway, so Nicta does that, and then Petra does what the far speech says, and she disables the breastplates of the goons and scourges some bitches. And then Nicta, with a smile on her face, because she's unmuzzled and can do whatever the fuck she wants, uses her magic to get the two. I love this. Instead of, like, fighting them the way Petra is, Nicta's like, yeah, I'm gonna let you guys do the work for me, and makes the two goons kill each other because she's a fucking queen.
Is there something wrong with us because we find women that have men murder each other hot?
No. This is it. But the way she does it, she's like, you're gonna kill each other.
That little smile on her face.
I know! I love it so much. Because Petra just, like, is like, I'm gonna I'm gonna hand-to-hand fight you. And Nicta's like, you're gonna fight each other. Like,
say, okay.
You know?
It just shows you who is more clever about how they fight.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It shows you who the guerrilla warrior is and who the, like, standard issue soldier. I mean, not that Petra's not very capable. I'm just saying that Nicta thinks outside the box, and you need that.
Yeah, I agree. It reminds me of, like, kings and courts, or, like, in Rome when they had, like, the gladiators in the Colosseum, where, like, the emperor or whoever would get up there and be like, you two, fight each other. And that's what she ordered the goons to do. It's so great. Yeah. Thinking outside the box. She's like, I could engage, or I can just have you do the work for me. Kill each other. I love it.
And she never has to do laundry because of blood.
Right. No, listen, she's not getting her dramatic robes dirty. That's not who Nicta is. No. She's like, you keep that blood over there. I'm gonna stand here and look pretty. And she does. She nailed it. Good job. You won the mission, Nicta. And and in this scene, she, like, freed herself. It's great. I love it. So after they kick ass and kill all these goons, Nicta, they have a conversation, and Nicta basically announces she's on Team Mama Collar now. And she's like, listen, my fight's no longer against you guys. I'm going to focus on the Camarilla. Like, Willa Collar was right. I should have listened to her and ate her mushrooms. So fuck those guys.
Why did you have to bring up Willa?
Because I love Willa. Willa should be here.
She should be here, and now I'm all sad all over again.
Well, this episode gets sadder.
I know I'm not prepared.
I know, I'm sorry. That's why we're in this together.
Exactly.
I love this dialogue too, because I mean, in the course of the scene, Nicta essentially proved to Petra, like, hey, like, I can work with you. We're on the same side. Like, truly, I'm not really against you. And Nicta really never was. It was really about the system. And now she's, like, showing Petra, look, we have a bigger problem. We need to work together. So to me, this is symbolizing, like, not just, like, Nicta and Petra, the individuals, working together, but it's, like, the spree and the army. So at least they can pave the way of, like, uniting witchhood. I think that's what's really being communicated with these two characters. There's a bigger picture here.
Yes, and I think that a lot of people have... Because we don't have more information, I hope that we do get more information. I think a lot of people have Nicta pegged wrong, as in how she feels about, like, I just don't feel like she has a hatred for individual witches or people.
Right. And maybe
like
maybe
you said,
Alder
she's
is
just,
the exception.
Okay,
I think that's the exception.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, because like they have a personal thing going on, but
they have a personal thing.
Aside from Alder, agreed. I agree with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think her problem is with, like you said, the system. And Alder.
Yeah. And Alder.
I think that's because Alder's her ex and betrayed her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's that. That is the subtext / the actual text that's happening. I agree.
Absolutely.
And after they have that conversation where they're like, okay, let's form an uneasy alliance, I assume they go off together to kill more Camarilla goons. And overall, 100 out of 10 for this scene. It has everything in it. So good.
I love it. It's a good scene.
It's a great scene.
So many good scenes in this.
Yes.
Episode, oh, and like, I know last episode we had a lot of or the past couple of episodes we had a lot of like, why is this scene happening? I didn't get that at all.
No.
In this.
Every single scene in this episode made fucking sense. And I think what helps it is that this was essentially like one day. So it's like very like linear the way the time works in this episode, and they're all kind of like in the same situation together. So it like threads the storylines a lot better. But yeah, there is no weird dialogue. There is no weird scenes. It all fits. And that's how you, honestly, no shade to anybody, that's how you know Elliot wrote it. Honestly. It all every single thing connects, and everything is clearly on purpose. Like, I feel like he definitely had a heavier hand in this episode, the way it was crafted. Love to see it.
We do. So, after all that ass kicking and awesomeness,
yes,
we get back to Khalida, who is kind of done with her altar, her anti-Abigail altar.
She hit it.
But is still sitting, she hit it. She's still sitting meditation style when a Camarilla goon kicks in the door and taunts her about how it's going to be less fun to kill her since she won't fight back. And I'm like, it's a 12-year-old girl.
I know. That part, that always gets like brushed to the side. This was Tiffany all over again, but worse. It's like, these are children, but okay.
These are children. You're a horrible, like, being on this earth and you need to die.
Yes.
Because
gross.
Anyway.
Yes.
Gross. So Adil interrupts all of this and disables the Camarilla devices because he's got the pitch. Tally is very pitch perfect in this episode.
Yes. Alternate title.
Cue the musical.
Yeah, this could have been the musical episode. Damn it. You're right. Pitch perfect.
Yep, pitch perfect.
Part one.
We could do a crossover.
Oh my god. Yo.
Except the queer baiting in Pitch Perfect makes me angry.
Yes.
Anyway, so Adil interrupts and he starts fighting with the Camarilla guys. He's pretty good at this for never having fought in his life. One of them slices him with a knife and the goons are about to kill him. And Khalida is at a crossroads watching all of this. They're not going to stop and she's going to have to act. She's like, step away from him, like her authority's going to do anything in this situation, which it doesn't. And then she makes a choice and turns one of the Camarilla goons into what looks like volcanic lava.
Molten
that's
lava.
Like molten lava. That's not, it's not like the super red lava at first. It's like the somewhat cool lava that breaks into the super red molten interior lava.
Yo, that was impressive, ma'am.
It was good fucking job.
And keep in mind, she's never attacked anyone ever. So like this work was like instinctual what she did.
Yes, it was spontaneous and instinctual.
Yeah, that's what makes this an even cooler scene, that she just like was like, oh shit, my brother. Yeah. And that's what comes out. Like, it's wild. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, like Adil in the Irrevocable.
You're right. Yeah, when he like melted their bones or whatever he did.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what I did.
I didn't know you could do that. And he's like, I didn't know either. I just did what I needed to, like, I just did what I did.
Yeah, so I think what this is showing, like, through their actions, I love that you brought that up. It showed their acts of violence were both spontaneous and, like, ancient. So I think this is a clue to us of, like, this is what the Tarim people are actually capable of when they fight. Like, because no one has seen their work in thousands of years, and it's like and they probably don't know what it is either, really. It's just like, this is the ancient thing we're not allowed to do. Who knows? They're like, I don't know I could do this. Like, this is what our people are capable of. So it's really cool we're seeing it, like, in these bursts. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Their power could be so like, they could literally bury a city in a giant.
Yes. They can pull a Pompeii themselves.
Their earthwork.
Yeah.
Pull a Pompeii, yeah.
Yeah. They don't need the Vesuvius.
They could.
Khalida's the Vesuvius.
No. They are volcanoes.
They are volcanoes. Yeah, no, it's really cool. And I think it's Elliot's doing this on purpose to give us glimpses about what they could do and, like, set us up for season 3 when they're, like, consciously being more violent, like, how their work will evolve. So it's very exciting. I'm excited to see how their work evolves in the next season. Big time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And also what this has to do with
the Earth and Sky Union
prophecy.
Fuck yeah. It's gonna be good, guys.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. So we're gonna go from Khalida and her decision to the unit who go out onto this, who are on this balcony.
Yeah, what the fuck are they?
Overlooking, you guys.
Why are they? Yeah,
I
don't know.
They wanted a better view of everyone dying. So they're on this balcony trying to get their bearings, I suppose. And
I love it.
So Tally's using her sight, and she says that every single pocket of witch plague is connected to the others, and they all trace back to a single source, and that source is getting closer to them. And then this witch bursts out of the French doors behind them, and she's been affected by witch plague. And that's when Rael is like, okay, cool, I'm gonna use my witch bomb. And so she witch bombs this witch with the plague, and it makes the witch plague recede. And then everyone's like, oh, cool, that means Rael can save everyone.
But does it?
And then they're like, Rael, if you could hit the source with the witch bomb, it's coming right at us.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this. And then all of a sudden, back to that witch that she supposedly, saved, and the witch plague comes back worse than ever.
It sure unfortunately does.
And she's the witch who is dying is looking at them and, like, looking around, and she's like, what the fuck do I do? That didn't work. And so she sacrifices herself by jumping off the balcony. And I have to say something. In the middle of all of this dramaticness that's going on, that made me laugh so hard for some reason.
I mean, it's funny. But also, like, good on her, though, for doing that. Having the cognition.
No, absolutely.
But it is
sacrifice
funny.
yourself.
You're like, what is this scene? This is wild. They're on this balcony. Yeah, she does pops
over the balcony.
She does.
Bye.
Fuck who's below here. You're about to get witch plagued.
Yeah. I mean.
But yeah.
It was something. I commend you, Nameless Witch, for sacrificing your life for the good of the unit.
She doesn't know that unit.
Yeah. She doesn't know that unit. She's a fucking, like, she's like, I don't know these people. I still don't want to kill them.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump off and kill the people below.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I know. I know. It's solidarity when you think about it. But when you think about it, you're like, but was it? If someone was walking below, like, yeah, I escaped that witch plague. And then she, like, falls on them. God damn it.
It's like, I guess she's like, well, at least this one tried to save me, so.
Yeah, the fallen witch falled on top of me, and now I am dead. But, yeah, it's one of those scenes that had to happen because Elliot's basically showing us, well, Rael and her mycelium powers could save us, but we're not there yet. We gotta think of something else for now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yes, it is effective against the witch plague to a degree.
Right. But
it doesn't... quite powerful enough. And I have a theory about all of this. I don't think Rael's using her witch bomb to its fullest potential.
Yes.
and I believe she's not by conscious choice, but I believe she's holding back. And that my theory is that she's going to need Cilla to help pull her power to the fore, like her actual power.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Elliot agrees with you, because in the After the Storm, when he talks about this episode, he basically says, like Rael doesn't know how to fully control the witch bomb. So I think you're correct. Like, I don't think that I think she's doing the best she can with what she knows how to do, but she doesn't really know how to control it, because she hasn't had this power for that long, really. It's not like there's a witch bomb mentor. So, yeah, I think that her power is going to expand next season, and potentially with Cilla, like you mentioned, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. The only mentor she had was Isadora, and Isadora was busy a lot of the time. And Rael's she doesn't know she's doing 95 other things, and Rael's interrupting her autopsy class. So
yeah. Also, Isadora is jealous, and she's like, "I don't want to help you be better at this."
Yeah, like the mycelium was mine, bitch.
Fuck you. Yeah, exactly. So there's that. So obviously she wasn't going to get real lessons from Isadora, and truly no one knows how to control this thing. So like even Isadora, if she wasn't jealous, she's learning. Everybody's learning about this, in real time.
It takes time, and they don't have time at the moment.
Yes. Or ever. Ever.
Wherever.
Ever.
Yeah, can we pause and have a therapy episode where we just have the characters go through therapy sessions?
They all need therapy so badly. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, maybe part 2 of the Revolution is just that everyone's in therapy. Let us hope.
I get. Maybe.
Maybe.
But
anyway.
So, the end of that scene is that witch jumping off the balcony, and then the unit being like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?"
Let's get off this random balcony, guys. So while they're doing that, meanwhile in the session, what the fuck are they even doing at the beginning of this scene?
Quinn?
What the fuck are they doing? What are they doing?
Quinn is basically having a Quinn show with all the Dodgers.
What is this? It's like, okay, to me, it's like, okay, they're like, first of all, having the witch version of like a barn party.
Yeah.
And there's all these people in the barn having a good time. Like, I assume mostly Dodgers, but like Edwin's there, Cilla's there. Well, Edwin's not there yet. Cilla's there. And Quinn's outside, like, stay back, watch this. And she summons a hailstorm from the heavens that, like, pelts down and crushes things in the backyard, which I guess is Edwin's property. And everyone claps and they're like, woo, that was cool. And, like, was this the witch version of, like, a talent show? Where they're like, let me show you my cool work. And they, like, go round robin and just, like, it's like a party game for witches. Is that what this is? Because it's so random.
Was she actually targeting that broken down car? Because all the hail just lands on it.
Well, I mean, that's all we see. Maybe that was. Maybe she was just targeting the hail. I don't know. Was this a talent show is my question.
There's no explanation for the witch talent show.
It's so random. It's so random. But I'm wondering, too, it's not explained if the other reason they're doing this. It's like, Quinn knows what government weather work is because there's a line later about this, but it's super random, and that's how this scene opens. And regardless of why Quinn was doing this, Cilla was super into the party trick. And she asks Quinn, hey, when are you going to teach me how to do this hail work? And Quinn's like, quid pro quo, little witch. I'm going to teach you and you teach me Morgan's whisper. So they're plotting together, which is awesome. And then the camera pans...
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
I don't think so either. I mean, maybe. Who knows? And then the camera pans to when she says that line. Morgan is joining the party, I guess. He's, like, in the back, squawking and chilling on a row of string lights. Like, yep, he's here, too, digging the talent show. And while they're, like... laughing over that and looking at Morgan, Edwin shows up and he interrupts the witch party, announcing that there was an attack on Fort Salem, and it's all over the news because, of course, he was watching the news. This is Motherland. That's what people do. And Cilla looks super upset for, like, a hot second because her mind obviously goes straight to Rael, but she composes her stuff really quickly and voices the bigger picture out loud, which is the war's here. This is the thing we're obviously plotting against, because the camera pans to a group of people, like Dodgers, poring over maps because they're strategizing. They're for the war. The war's here. We're out of time. Like you said, there's no time. The time is now. The war's here. And after this line is delivered, Quinn fucks off somewhere, leaving Edwin and Cilla alone. Cilla immediately gushes her feelings about Rael to Edwin, like trying to comfort the two of them, saying, she'll be okay, don't worry about it, she's gonna be okay. Edwin, like, takes this for a second, like, gives her this very small little broken smile and says, that's what I used to tell myself about Willa. Like, either saying, like, cool, I'm in this position where now my daughter is walking her mother's footsteps, but also, like, double speaking to Cilla, like, now you know what it's like when your wife's in danger. Cilla, get used to it. She's gonna stay in the army. The two of them then hug. And I love this hug because Scylla's the one that makes the move to hug Edwin, which I think is a huge character development thing for her, because she is, like, physically comforting somebody else. Like, it's growth for Cilla. I feel like prior to Rael entering her life, she would have never done this. Like, the action is such a testament to her growth and a direct result of Rael's impact on her.
Absolutely. I agree 1,000%. And that entire scene between them shows Scylla's character growth.
Yeah. If you think about it, like, yeah, Edwin's Rael's dad, but really she hasn't known him for very long. Like, it's been like a week. And the pace of this, like, friendship and, like, comfort level to be able to hug him, I think is super quick, which is different for Cilla, because all the other attachments we've seen her form developed over a very long time. Like, if you think about, like, Willa, she's known Willa for a long time prior to when, like, we see them interact. And Anacostia, too. Like, they've known each other for a while, but Edwin, Tiffany, and Quinn, by extension, are all very different types of friendships that were formed very quickly. And Cilla acts very different around them very quickly. And I think this is showing that, like, she has actually changed as a person, and she's able to open her up to people in general. Like, she's being vulnerable without hesitation. And I think it's just so significant and hopeful to where, like, Cilla in the future, like, going forward, can actually be capable of making real friendships with people, because she's never really had that. And I really, like, adore that character development for her and the way it was paced so well throughout the entire show. And it's so, like, it's such a natural progression for her from going to being this, like, little isolated girl on the run to, like, this person who's more independent and, like, independent adult, and who's now somebody who's capable of actually making friendships instead of just being, like, the lone wolf. I love the way that was designed and executed with her character.
And also pay attention to the body language a lot, because at the beginning, Cilla had a very closed type of body language, or avoidant body language is the better word to have. Yeah. And now she's a lot more open. Like, if you watch Amalia, her actions and everything are a lot more open, and how she's facing people. Her hands aren't in her pockets as much. She's doesn't have her hands behind her back, all, like, so there's that separation is disappearing, and you see it not only in the writing, but in the physical acting part.
Oh, that is such an excellent point. Yeah. Good on you, Amalia, for using your body language like that. You're right.
Yes.
There is a progression in just the body language. It's not just, like, because I feel like with Cilla, it's like she's more of the silent type that just, you can see where she's at by how her body language, like you said, and her actions too. So yeah, her body language is more open, but her actions too indicate she's more open. Like, that's why I think it's so significant that she's the one that hugs Edwin. It's not the other way around.
Exactly.
You know, it's indicating, like, that's where she's at mentally, because she's able to do this action without, she didn't think about it. She was just like, you're hurt, I'm hurt, let's hug. I'm gonna hug you, basically. Yeah. It's awesome.
They had a mutual point of pain, not only with Rael, but with Willa.
Yeah.
So
oh man, yeah.
Cilla, like, you don't see Edwin talk about Willa that often, or ever, really.
Yeah. And let's not go there, but yes, correct. Yes.
Him bringing Willa up and comparing, having a parallel situation of his relationship with Willa and Scylla's relationship with Rael. Like, he's obviously getting to know Cilla and seeing the similarities in their situations. And then also you've got, like, the last scene where they're together in the diner, he's reaching out to her.
Yes.
As far as offering her, saying without any judgment. And that's also how Rael got Cilla. She didn't ask any, like, the questions she asked were super reasonable. And even when Cilla was like, I can't go to that emotional place, Rael was like, okay, we're going to do this together. I accept you. We're in this, and you take your time, basically. And you can see that she gets that from Edwin because...
Yes. Oh, I never noticed that before, but you are absolutely 1,000,000% correct. That is the ultimate parallel. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, Rael gets her wooing skills from her dad, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's how Edwin got Mama Collar.
Oh, I'm sure. Mama Collar's feisty. I want the prequels with those two because that would have been interesting.
Right?
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It's the lack of judgment and the open acceptance without question. That's a key point. Thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome.
Of course. Because
so
he's
good.
just like, I know you got yourself in some kind of trouble. I don't need to know about it. All I see are your actions now are positive, and you're in my daughter's life. You obviously mean a lot to her, so you're welcome in my life.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Cilla has never had that since her parents died.
Yeah, never. And that's what I mean. That's like the collar impact on like where she is now.
That's a big one. The collar impact.
Yeah, because
I like
Willa
that.
too. Like, I mean, they found their mutual acceptance in the van scene, and like, you're right, and that Edwin too kind of completes that. It's the collar acceptance for Cilla.
Yep.
Before we leave,
okay,
sorry.
I was just gonna say that it's obvious. Edwin's not dumb. He knows that Cilla's the girl that Rael.
Look at her. Just look at her when she talks about Rael. Yeah. It's obvious.
Cilla, and that's why another reason why he's so open and all that is because he knows he could see obviously how much Cilla feels for Rael.
Yes.
And Rael never would have sent Cilla to his house if she wasn't ready for a U-Haul.
He's like, my daughter, damn lesbian Jesus that I raised. Hydrate
that's
yourselves.
All I have to say about that. So you continue.
I just want to bring up, lastly, the final frame in this scene during the Edwin and Cilla hug. So we get this very big wide shot of them in the barn. I wanted to note the lighting in the scene because the entire frame, excluding the barn, is bathed in blue light. So that's like Scylla's color. But inside the barn is yellow, which is Rael's light. And this light is what's bathing all the people, including Cilla and Edwin. So I think this is more confirmation of what we've been talking about, how it highlights that this entire scene was really made possible by Rael. And Rael's love is what changed Cilla and is the reason Cilla is even in this barn in the first place, like we just went off about. So I love that is reinforced in the light. Again, that like Cilla is now in Rael's world, basically. Permanently.
She's been accepted.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love, that's the light that's like bathing them in this moment too.
It's so wonderful.
It is.
It makes my heart like all stupidly full, and I hate it. I'm supposed to have feelings.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Amanda Tapping. You always have
thank you.
Gorgeous wide shots. This is just one example.
Everybody that works on this crew is a freaking is just
so talented.
Wonderful at their jobs.
Yeah, totally.
Ugh, love it.
Brain cell.
The one brain cell we have.
Is this gonna get worse in season 3?
Yeah, it's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse. This is just a taste, everyone.
This is a taste of the fact that there's
gonna be so much
basically
screaming.
you're gonna be screaming and saying the same thing at the same time.
Correct, yeah. It's gonna get wild.
Love it.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, guess what? What?
Penelope's
the source.
Oh my god, this is brand new information.
Rocket!
Jesus Christ.
So
She's a
Penelope
plant.
is walking towards the unit with all of these witches that have been captured by the witch plague tendrils and a news crew following her.
Because, of course, Fox News is here. Why wouldn't they
Fox
be?
News is here, and they're really close to her, and I just want to know why they feel like they should be really close to her at this moment.
Right? Why the fuck didn't they run the fuck away?
I know that they're not witches, but
they don't know how this works.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't you be like, what the fuck is all this black stuff? Let's get the fuck out of here. No, they hang around and follow her really close. It's so weird.
The demon nacho cheese is on the move, and we have to get the footage.
Right. Fuck our lives. Yeah, it's so weird what they're just like casually standing there, like not disturbed by anything that's happening at all. That's how you know it's Fox News.
It's like they're filming a bar fight, not an apocalypse.
Genocides. Yeah, exactly. It's so their behavior is weird. But anyway.
So one wonders if they might not be, I don't know,
Plants.
clued in.
Plants. They're plants. Yeah. Right.
So Penelope is very confused, has no idea what's going on.
As she should be, the poor thing.
She's covered in evil nacho cheese, spaghetti, and is basically dying and killing everyone around her, but has no idea. And when they stop in front of her, she asks Tally why people don't want to talk to her, and my heart breaks because Penelope never deserved any of this.
No, Elliot, she didn't. I know why you picked her, because it's emotional. It makes me sad. But no, she didn't. I think Penelope is actually the sacrificial lamb. Like, she was the innocent girl, golden girl, and here we are. That's what makes it so devastating.
She was there. She provided an opportunity, and that's all there was to it. That's all the Camarilla cared about. But, so, Rael immediately tries to use the witch bomb again, like, or they're like, hey, go ahead, try to use the witch bomb, and she does, and obviously it's not powerful enough, because we saw in the last balcony scene that she couldn't even get it off a part of it off of this other witch.
Right.
So Penelope is like, she has these like moments where the witch plague takes over, and the screaming that she's doing is aggressive.
Yeah, it's like what, remember when Khalida was in the infirmary and the witch plague took over her vocal cords and just started screaming? Exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing.
So angry screaming from the witch plague, and then back to Penelope pleading with Tally to help her. Which, knowing Tally and the giant cinnamon roll that she is ripping her apart. So Abigail has an idea and thinks that they can end this, but they all have to agree to do it. So basically what she's saying is, hey, we can make this stop, but it's going to kill her. So everybody has to agree before it goes down. Keep in mind, that news crew is still there. And so they have Rael use the witch bomb, but keep it contained. I'm not sure, like...
I guess to, like, I don't fully understand what she means, but I guess it's to, like, keep the witch plague, like, at, close to Penelope so it doesn't shoot out at them and defending itself, I guess. Because basically what she's capable of doing right now with the witch plague is, like, making it recede enough, like you said. So maybe that's what they mean by contain. Like, keep it on Penelope and so it doesn't come out at us. Maybe.
Yeah, because you can see the tendrils of it were so long.
Yeah.
And going away from her, I guess, like, by keeping the witch plague as small as possible.
Yeah.
Maybe it's easier to destroy.
Maybe. This is the first time anyone's ever done this, so maybe that's what they're going for. We'll go with that.
But Abigail knows what she's doing, apparently.
Yeah, I know. I love that she apparently just knows everything, and it's like, how do we get to Abigail? Sure.
Where did you, think about this? Did you have a secret session with Albin about the witch plague that we don't know about? I don't know.
You know what? She's been, honestly, so obsessed with the Camarilla longer than anybody else in this unit. Maybe she has, thought through scenarios. I wouldn't put it past her.
Maybe she has.
You know?
I wouldn't either. Yeah. Tactical battle thinking would make sense. That would be the thing that Abigail would use instead of counting sheep to go to sleep at night.
Exactly. Well said. I think that's what it is.
So, yeah. Abigail basically whips out 2 tornadoes and braids them together like she's been training to do.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, Rael's putting the witch bomb on Penelope, and she goes into the air because tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's super high above them, Penelope explodes.
Yeah.
Which,
it's like tornadoes do.
I guess.
No, right?
The only thing I can figure is that you had the tornadoes rotating themselves, and then the tornadoes are twisted and rotating around each other, so the force of it pulled her apart.
I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
I guess that's the idea.
Sure.
But here's my other question. Why didn't all the pieces of Penelope come raining down?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Right. What happened? Where'd she go?
Where'd they go?
Where'd she go? Is she in the space-time continuum? What happened? Did Abigail create a wormhole? A magical wormhole? Yeah. Is she in the mycelium? What happened? Where'd it go?
Did all the pieces just end up in somebody's barn 5 miles away? I don't understand.
It ended up on that truck that Quinn was doing the hail. What's Quinn? How did she do that? And she's like, I didn't.
It's a different kind of hail.
Yeah, this is hell, not hail. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So wherever Penelope went, the pieces of Penelope anyway.
R.I.P. Girl.
She's dead now. R.I.P. Penelope, and the witch plague source is gone. Yeah. However, it was all captured on film
by Fox News, so that's going to go badly for the witches. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tucker Carlson's going to be reporting on this in a while. So.
Oh yeah, revving up the hate. Not our daughters.
Yep. Not our daughters.
Gross.
Yep. Big gross and sadness. You can see the devastation. Rael ending up on her knees on the ground always kills me. But Tally's face when Penelope explodes.
Devastating.
Wounded me deeply.
Fucking devastating. So at this point, I'd like to say a special fuck you to Elliot and his team. Prior to when this episode dropped, he gave us promo pics of the silver unit. And he's like, look at the silver unit. Aren't they cute? And then ripped them all away from us by killing the silver of the silver unit. So fuck you. Penelope was done so dirty. And I think she's in the mycelium right now, making a little tally shrine next to Libba's.
Yes, she is. Not only did he kill Penelope, he blew her into bits, and we don't know where those bits went.
That too. Now we have a detective mystery for the poor detective that has to look into this. We feel for you, ma'am, or sir, and or other, because who knows what the fuck happened. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Good damn.
I can't help you there.
Poor Penelope. But I think this is she is truly the biblical sacrificial lamb, is what she is.
She really is.
For a lot of things. She was this innocent girl. She was the presented as the future of witchhood. So to have her die in this brutal way is really demoralizing for the witches, symbolically speaking.
And now you know why that goodbye from Daddy Silver is so fucking awful and creepy and stupid.
Yeah, that's why he rightfully won the Laura Nail Award for being a fucking asshatch who should be in the trash.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why all his crying was so out of proportion, because he was an asshole that knew this was going to happen to his daughter. And sent people to film it? It's just everything about it is gross. I hate him a lot. He's gross. But anyway, after that, we get into something happier. Elliot's just hitting you with like deep sorrow and then happy feels so that you don't turn off the television and run away. So thankfully after that, we transition to like the next day. So like the death happened at night, now it's daytime. And we get this aerial shot of Fort Salem, basically depicting all like the devastation and the damage to Fort Salem and all like the dead witches being kind of hauled off or the injured as well. We end up on the steps of like the entrance, I guess, to Fort Salem, where the Coven is reuniting with each other. Em mentions to Abigail that her mother, Petra, is alive, and she's going to be addressing the troops soon. And relief washes over Abigail, and she thanks Em for telling her that. And then after that cute, my mom's alive moment, more head stuff happens. So Gregorio... Then Gregorio checks in with Tally to make sure she's okay. And Tally replies, not yet, but I will be. Because, like, Tally is having her first war PTSD moment right now where she had to choose to sacrifice somebody who was, like, pleading for her life. Like, that she had a connection with, her little mentee. Tally's being eaten up inside right now. So she's kind of being honest about this. Like, no, but, like, eventually I have to be. So there we are. Behind her, Rael is comforting Tally.
Less het, more happy to my soul.
Yeah, she's being a good, like, little unit mate and comforting Tally, has, like, her hand on her shoulder. And then Gregorio, like, kind of joins in and, like, it's very sweet. They're trying to, like, comfort Tally. Then more het stuff happens because we have to meet the quota, apparently. The quota's not done. I thought we were done, Elliot. What is this? But anyway, Adil and Khalida show up. And Abigail has more of a reaction to Adil being alive than her own mother.
Right!
Right? Like, priorities, question mark. And they passionately hug and exchange, like, I'm glad you're okay kind of words. And then they remember Khalida exists and is staring at them. And Abigail is like, yeah, glad you're alive too, future sis-in-law. Dramatic.
Yeah,
you too. Please look away. Dramatic music plays after that, and then we transition into the next scene.
Listen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this scene.
I think it's very sad that we have to have all of this het to balance out what's going to come later.
Does it balance? It doesn't balance.
No, it doesn't balance.
No.
That's what I'm saying, is that they think somebody in the world thinks it balances.
It doesn't. This scene is superior to all the het stuff that has happened in the whole show. So,
yeah.
Yes, just the scene alone.
Anyway,
and there's more.
Moving on.
Moving on to the next good scene. So the opposite of het stuff happens. We shoot over to the phone booth, I guess, in Fort Salem, and Rael is on the phone. Her uniform is now open, so Rael is in a vulnerable place. So I wonder who she's going to have a conversation with. It's her dad. So she's alleviating his worry on the phone and, like, assuring him she's totally fine, despite what he saw on Fox News, who I'm sure played up the drama. I'm fine. You can hear my voice. We cut over from Fort Salem into the Collar household. Well, Edwin is gushing on the phone. He's so glad his daughter's alive, blah, blah, blah. And Scylla's in the background making herself busy by pretending to do dishes or clean the counter or whatever. She's clearly just trying to hang out.
There's a hole in that counter by the end of this scene.
She's clearly just trying to hang out and hear this phone call. And she wins her mission yet again. And Edwin, who has eyeballs, notices what's happening. So he steps in as the best wingman ever, and he's like, listen, Ray, there's somebody else here who wants to talk to you, who's, like, breathing down my neck from the sink. And he passes the phone over to Cilla. As the phone exchange is happening, we cut back to Rael, who perks up immediately, because who the fuck else? What is it, Quinn? Who else could possibly be on the other, like, about to pick up the receiver? And Cilla lunges for the phone. And while they talk, Edwin is in the background actually doing the dishes because he walked over there and was like, what the fuck was she even doing? He's like, these dishes have to get done, Cilla.
There's a hole in my counter now.
There's a chore wheel you weren't following. So he actually does the dishes. Good on him. Because Cilla was not doing them. And Rael gets on the phone with Cilla and her voice softens immediately when she hears Cilla. And both of them throughout this whole conversation are, like, super emotional and, like, very relieved to hear each other's voice, which is totally understandable. And I think this is like the most vulnerable they've ever been talking to each other, maybe ever, or at least in a very long while. Because like they're both just like, there's no bullshit here at all. Like at all. It's very just honest what they're saying to each other. Like the whole conversation. Rael asks, Scylla like starts this off by just being like, well, how is my dad actually doing? And I think it's kind of like double speak for like, how are you also? How's my dad, quote unquote, doing? Scylla's response is of course applicable to herself and Edwin, because this conversation is like double speak that they're having right now. And she says he'll be better now that he knows you're all right. And she like cuts the bullshit and clarifies the double speak, saying we both will be. Meaning like being like, listen, I was fucking worried about you too, in case you were wondering. Now you know. And Rael like goes on and tells Scylla, you know, things here are, I know you probably saw the news, things here are just as bad as they seem. And I think this is just the beginning of things. Things are about to get worse for all of us. So versus like trying to comfort her dad and be like, it's fine, it wasn't that bad. And with Scylla, she's completely honest and she's like, it's horrible. This is a living nightmare. Like, it's going to get worse, just so you know. To which Scylla responds, I wish I was there with you. There is no hesitation to the sentence. She just like blurts this out. And to me, this is Scylla's like actual like declaration of love, like saying it without saying it, because think about what she just offered. She just offered to be at Fort Salem, a place she hates, with the army, who she also hates, during an attack with the Camarilla, a group of people she hates more than the army, just to be with Rael so Rael wouldn't have to go through this nightmare by herself. Like, that's love, ladies and gentlethems.
Listen, if anyone ever in a million years doubted these two, seriously.
Watch the scene. Yeah, and I think that's Scylla saying I love you without saying it, and I think Rael like, or at least expressing how much I love you, that I would be willing to do this, like without hesitation. And I think Rael gets all of that because she pivots the conversation and tells Scylla her own truth, that while things were at their worst during this big battle with the Camarilla, she just kept thinking about how she might never see Scylla again. And to Rael, that was a far worse reality than the actual battle she was fighting for her life. And Scylla is melting into the receiver, or like in her feelings, because I don't think ever in a million years she expected this to happen, like to go this way. Not. Yeah, exactly. But it's Rael. She's U-hauling. It's Rael. Come on, girl. And then Rael tells Scylla, I love you. Like, she actually says it. And why? Why does Rael say this? Because think about it. At this point, they haven't really talked through all of the, you know, the bad juju that went down between them. They haven't talked through all the betrayal. They kind of got into it at the spree house, but they didn't. And I think why Rael is saying this now and why she brings up the example of, like, when things were bad, I thought about how it could end and I would never see you again. I think this is Carpe Diem Rael, because back in season 1, during the dance at Charvel's wedding, Rael held back from telling Scylla she loved her. And that's something Taylor expresses. And she says that Rael really regretted that really hard, especially while Scylla was gone. Like, that was her big regret, that I never said it when I had the chance. And now here's another situation where one of them could have died. Like, Rael could have died. And I think in that moment, she's like, wow, here is another situation where I could have died and I wasn't honest with you. So I think despite all the stuff that is unresolved between them, Rael doesn't want to die without being honest about her feelings. So here she is, like, taking that opportunity and saying, like, whatever happens, just know that I love you. It's kind of like what Scylla said. She's like, whatever happens next, just know that I love you. Like, Rael's like, things are about to get worse. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I need you to know this before one of us dies. And I think that's huge growth for Rael. Like, you know, so they're both like growing and maturing in how they handle relationships and each other. And it's awesome.
It's very awesome. Like, we don't get this in other depictions of queer relationships on TV. Especially not in a...
Okay. Huh? Go ahead. No, go.
Especially not in, you know, on mainstream networks.
Or we get them, and then somebody, like Laura Neal, decides to fuck you over in the last 3 minutes and say, that was all garbage. And you get the barrier gaze trope. That is one or the other. It's either you never get it, or you get it, and then it's ripped away from you 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
So thank you, Elliot, for not doing that. And this is why I think like their separation and all the stuff they just went through this season was so important, because this is what it was all for. Like they were able to process and deal with things, and now they're able to actually communicate with each other and build a foundation that's more solid between the two of them, regardless of all the external forces and regardless of the fact that they have things to work on, which is real life. Like they have things to talk through. They have things to work on together. But at the end of the day, Rael's like, listen, I love you. You just, at the very least, I need you to know that. So I love it.
She was ready to say it.
She was.
Again.
And Cilla was ready to hear it and super relieved, because Rael's love really is the one thing she mourned more than anything. And so she reciprocates this immediately and tells Rael she loves her back, because that is her truth. And she's probably wanted to say it the whole time, but it's just like, you have to make the first move. It can't come from me. I hurt you worse this time. So finally she's like, great, I can be completely honest with you. I don't have to hold anything back. I think she's really relieved about that.
But the way her voice breaks.
Her voice breaks, she gets teary-eyed, and then Rael hears this and nuzzles into the phone, which...
This is the gayest conversation ever!
It is, and their body language and everything makes it so much gayer. Like, thanks, guys.
Exactly!
And this is another instance where I was having a cardiac arrest while watching this, because the feels were so overwhelming, and Isadora was like, God, again? I'm just like charging your ass.
Exactly. And this time, they're happy. Why are you dying? Because they're so happy and they're so gay.
Yeah, my cold, tiny lesbian heart couldn't take it. It's too cute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's too much for our cold, dead hearts, Isadora.
Yeah. Isadora gets that. She survived the dead hearts. But yeah, like honestly, this scene right here, this is what it's all been for. This is what it's all been building towards, is their ability to communicate with each other honestly without holding anything at all back. That's where they needed to get, and they can work on their shit from here. That's what this is.
Yes.
So
this isn't then do not take it the wrong way. This is not everything's cool. Like we're going to be happy puppies and daffodils from here on out. This is a relationship, and they're in the middle of a war.
No, exactly. That's why I love it, because it's not like, hey, we resolved everything, they're getting a Disney ending right after this. It's like, no, it's like, this is just a major step forward for them to like create their Disney ending, because they have a lot of shit to work through still, but like,
yes,
yeah, exactly. So if they're not in a beautiful, wonderful Disneyland ever after in the next season, this is why. This was just a stepping stone to get them there, but they have things to work on.
Yes,
I think that's important to acknowledge.
The scene made me so happy.
Yeah, it was a cute scene. This is one of the ones I rewatched like a million times, because I couldn't believe we were here either. I was like, why are we here? How did we get here? What? Oh, the phone nuzzle. It's so cute.
The phone nuzzle. They both like, Scylla, like literally when you said lunging for the phone, I was like, that's the perfect description of what happened. Yeah. Because she was freaking waiting back there to spring on that phone. Like,
yeah, we didn't hear the dish crash, but she threw that dish. She's like, fuck this dish. Yeah, and literally lunged. Like, anyone give me that.
Give me that phone.
Yeah, she lunges for the door. Yeah,
it's a miracle she didn't break it, but that's her line. That's like the only connection she had to Rael. Like in hearing her voice. Can you imagine?
Yeah, because I think that's why the two of them, the minute they hear each other's voice, they like relax, because like it's one thing to like know they're okay, it's another thing to hear the voice and be like, oh, you are actually okay, and your body just like reacts to that, like, oh fuck, it's like the weight is lifted and it's like, this is real. I think for both that was mutual, that was happening between the two of them, which made it powerful.
Because if you go back to season 1, when Rael comes out of the infirmary after the porter crap, and Scylla's hanging out under the tree, she like is like seriously concerned, like, okay, you're okay, I can touch you, you're real, you're like not dead, you're like, so she needed to hear that.
Yeah, they both did. Like Rael also too was like, oh god, you're okay. Look, not that she was in a battle, but it's just like, okay, okay, you're alive too.
Yeah, but it's like the thing, like, knowing Scylla's actually there. You hear her voice, so you know, like, it's an actual, it's real. Instead of just...
You know what it is? It's literally... but not exactly, but it's the soldier coming home from war. That's what it is. And like seeing their family, hearing their family, like that's what it is. Yeah. She's like, oh yeah, you're okay. Like you're the thing I was fighting for to get back to. Yeah, that's what it is. Mission accomplished.
Yes, I actually will talk to you again. That wasn't like, we're all good. Yay.
It's like we can move forward. Let's be honest. I'm being honest. Let's be honest and move forward from this. No more lies.
Let's be real.
Let's be honest. Yes.
All right. So from all the feels with Edwin and Cilla and the fabulous relationship that they're forming, we get to go to Depresso Land.
Yeah.
Where Magda and Isadora are trying to figure out why Alder is still holding on. And I'm like, it's because she's become a tree. So
she is wooden at the moment.
Yes. There are many jokes that I'm not going to make because the inner child in me is fighting. But
be brave. Be strong.
Be brave. Be strong. I will not do it.
Fight to your last breath, Bree.
I will. Damn these infantile jokes about wood.
I'm sorry, I said it. It's not my fault. Alder looks like a fucking tree.
Yeah.
It's someone's fault. We don't know.
Yeah, seriously. Damn freaking Groot. Anyway. Yeah. Alder's trying to tell them something, and Isadora leans down, and the CGI is very evident when the closer you get. Or as I should say, the tree GI.
Yes.
Why am I like this? Anyway, again. So she says to Isadora that she wants Rael and her unit, and she wants to be taken to the mother, which means that she's wants to go to the mushroom. So that's what you do if you're a 350-year-old witch. You turn into a tree and you go into the mushroom.
That you created.
With your grief.
Yes. Yeah.
So Anacostia is bawling again, and I'm not crying, you are.
We're all crying. Yes, I am crying. Accurate.
She nods. And then basically we cut to where they're at the mushroom wall and Anacostia cannot find the words to say goodbye to her mother. We're getting serious again. Yeah. She's expressing that she doesn't know how to do this without Alder. But Alder's like, no, you can do this. Like, you've got everything you need. And then Anacostia kisses Groot on the forehead as the unit arrives.
Yeah, I love that Alder's giving her, like, the mother-daughter talk, basically, you know? Like, it'll be okay.
As much as she can with her wooden lips.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on with her vocal cords at this point. Is she wooden inside?
I have so many questions about all of this.
So many questions.
Yeah, because, can she not speak because she's basically dying? Or is it, like, her anatomy, she can't speak because it's becoming wood, like you said? I don't know. That's a good question. I never thought about that.
I don't know.
Elliot, you wrote this, Elliot. What the hell?
Yeah, seriously.
I have so many questions about this.
Yes.
How? What?
This is the ultimate questions that we need answers.
Yeah, seriously. This. But anyway.
So the unit's gonna say goodbye each in their turn. And Abigail starts and says that she spent her whole life looking up to Alder, but don't worry, basically we have all the tools we need and we're going to be just as hard on my mom. Don't worry.
I love that line.
She's not going to get off easy. And I'm like, that's something I would say. So go, Abigail.
I think Alder really liked hearing that.
I think so too.
Honestly. Yeah.
Because I do think Petra needs to be reminded from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Just like Abigail. She's her mother's daughter. Yeah, exactly.
Precisely.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, Rael's turn is next, and she tells Alder how she learned to face her darkness and basically use it. Like, not to be afraid of the darkness within herself, but to use it and to embrace herself. And without that teaching, the night before would have gone differently, because that's how she's harnessing the mycelium power.
Yeah.
After that, we have Tally, who's the most significant goodbye.
Yes.
On a personal level.
Yes, agreed.
So Tally starts off as typical Tally and says that you told me to follow the truth no matter where it led. And she may not understand some of the choices that Alder made, but she's beginning to understand the burden of those choices. And she doesn't understand how Alder carried that all this time, but Alder can set it down. And the witches, she's saying, and we, as the other witches, will carry it from there.
So sad.
So sad.
But it's true. Like, and I think there's a lot of stuff happening here with Tally coming to this realization, because I think the killing of Penelope is like her new burden. And Jess said it in the After the Storm. She's like, Tally's gonna have to carry that forever. Like, that changes you. Deciding to kill an innocent witch. But I think for the bigger picture kind of thing is that everyone's been like after Alder this whole time and like, wow, I can't believe she did XYZ. But I don't think anybody ever could really put themselves in her shoes. Like 300 plus years of just like making these kinds of decisions. That's a lot of burden. And Alder, to her credit, was such a strong human being that she was able to carry that by herself. Who the fuck is capable of that? Like, that's who Alder is. Like, she really is like the strongest person in the world, truly, for carrying that emotional weight forever and only on her own shoulders. Like, she never put it on her generals. She never put it on her troops. Like, she carried the burden alone. And that's really sad and must have been so hard for Alder. And so to have Tally, who's somebody who was connected to Alder, who maybe could have felt some of those burdens when she was a biddy, to voice that out loud and finally come to that conclusion, I think is huge. And I think that this speech gives Alder the most peace, truly. Because I think Alder was always worried about handing over the reins, not because she didn't think like Petra was capable, but it's more like, I don't want you to have my burdens on you. Like, I should spare you and witchhood all of that. It's my burden to carry. But this is Tally being like, no, we're stronger than you think. Like, we can carry this as a group and we can go on. Like, it'll be okay. It's okay to let go, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. And I do think that Alder needed to hear that. And
yeah, she did, really.
Tally needed to say it. And I think Tally saying this goodbye helps both of them. So
yeah, no, totally.
Process it. I mean, we don't know if it's goodbye forever. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
But in this moment, it's like so many feels, because Tally and Alder, Tally and Nicta, like there's so many parallels, similarities, and I really like that Tally said that she may not understand the choices that Alder made.
Agreed. Yes, because I think that's been the big focus, is like, I don't understand why she does what she does. So yeah, to have her come to that conclusion is so huge. She's like, it doesn't matter. You did what you thought was, because we'll get into this later when she talks to Nicta in the jail, but like, it comes down to like, you thought what you were doing was right and you acted accordingly. Leave it at that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's huge. That's maturity for Tally.
It is. And I also love that they didn't just make it simple and have Tally forget all of the bad stuff that happened. They have her acknowledge it to Alder.
Yes. Yes, because isn't that just like the crux of being human? It's like we want to paint these pictures that, our heroes are flawless and they're just good and nothing else, but like heroes are people. People are not just one thing. They are good and bad. They're an amalgamation of their choices and things they thought were right that may be perceived as bad or harmful to others or may cause the direct harm of others, like Alder was forced to do as a military leader. But it's not about demonizing Alder for her choices. It's about accepting that she's a human who made choices, and we are where we are. You thought you were doing, actions in the best interest of all of us, and just we'll leave it at that. And you carried the burden of the consequences of the choices on your back for decades or centuries, rather. And that piece couldn't have been none of this. It's Tally saying like, we are where we are, you did what you did, and none of that could have been easy for you. It's acknowledging that it was difficult, regardless of like whether Tally agreed with it or not. That's not the point. The point is what you did was difficult, and you shouldered the burden of all of that alone. That's exactly the big picture, yeah.
And it's really important that they kept everyone in character for these goodbyes. And they did a really good job, obviously, because it's Elliot and those details came from him. And I mean, these characters came from him.
Yeah, and Lynn said in the After the Storm, this was the last scene of the season. This one.
Yikes. Imagine saying goodbye.
Yeah, right? Like, oh my God. It's like one of the most like heightened emotion scenes. And it's like a actual goodbye scene as their goodbye scene for the season. Like, yeah, so this was a high emotion scene for sure.
Everyone was crying on set, it's
correct.
True.
Yeah, Elliot said that. We were all crying in between takes, like everybody, not just the actors.
Yeah. Alder says thank you. And then Rael starts singing to the mycelium. And that's what activates it, I guess. And they all pick Alder up.
The reason why she's singing Alder's grief song. That's what she's singing.
I did not register that.
Me neither. I picked it up this time. That's what she's singing. She's singing the grief song that Willa showed her in the mycelium dream. That's why it activates.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All the details. Mm-hmm. So they pick Alder up, like...
Do they? Or does she just starts floating? Yeah, somehow they pick her up. It's wild.
It reminded me of light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Yes, no, totally.
What it reminded me of.
Totally, it is.
You may be, all of you, anyone that's like not too young to remember that. But anyway, the mycelium reaches out and takes, like, the tendrils come out and they go around her body and she's taken into the mycelium. And they stand there at the wall, and the unit says goodbye, sister, in mother tongue, and Anacostia follows that up with goodbye, mother, in mother tongue. Hurts. And Tally takes Anacostia's hand, and then they all join hands.
So beautiful.
It was very beautiful and very sad and very...
so sad.
I don't even know what to say.
I know. It's very all the feels. It's
so many feels.
So much grief.
I don't... Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch so many, like, episodes of something with comedy after this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
This one's emotionally draining, this episode in particular.
Is.
All right. So after the gang said goodbye to Alder in the saddest way possible, we go to Petra's office, where she is, the first shot is her looking at the Alder decor, and I know she was thinking to herself, like, how much time needs to pass before it's okay for me to redecorate this office and remove all these paintings? Yep. She's like, I gotta wait the socially acceptable amount of time before I get rid of all this Alder stuff. But while she's plotting that, the office assistant comes in, the person that runs Fort Salem, and she's reporting that they found 81 more victims. Like, so the body toll is escalating the more they excavate Fort Salem in the aftermath. After that, Isadora joins in and reports the infirmary is at capacity. Petra takes all that in and is like, okay, tell me how many vocal cords were harvested in all this chaos. And Magda in the corner growls 64. Like she's ready for blood, which good for you. Good on you, Magda. We love you.
Magda gonna beat some people with her cane.
Yeah, she is. The officers that are in the room are having feelings about all of this. And then Petra asks the $1 million question. How did the Camarilla get on base? Like, how do we even get here? Because
that's a good damn question.
It's the $1 million question. Because Fort Salem has security, and Fort Salem has wards in place, like magical security, to prevent this from ever happening. So how the fuck did it happen? Poor Isadora starts theorizing, or essentially like hypothesizing out loud. And she's like, well, the wards were connected to Alder and her health. So like maybe when like you ousted Alder, when she got injured, this started wavering. And Petra cuts her off. She's like, listen, I don't need maybes. I need answers. Like, I'm the boss. Go back to your lab, lock yourself in there and figure out what the fuck happened. Then come back to me. And then she looks at Anacostia. Is like, you, intelligence, you're on this. Go get me stuff. Anacostia agrees. She's like, I will report back. Well, and I'm on this, and she leaves. After Anacostia leaves, Petra starts delegating out tasks to the other officers and asking about the whereabouts of who her officers are. Like, who is left? Who do we have to, like, delegate more things to? And every officer she lists, she's just met with this, like, silence and uncomfortableness in the room until Clary pipes in and says, they're all fallen, General. Like, what's left? And they all, like, get very somber after that and bow their heads and start to do this little, like, prayer for the fallen, basically. But then they are rudely interrupted by VP Silver.
I call him Vice Asshole.
Yeah. He's awful. He comes in on his dramatics. Cut it in. Petra tries to, like, give him condolences about Penelope, but he cuts in and he's like, you saw the footage, didn't you? Like, don't even talk to me. And Petra's like, footage? What makes you think I had time to watch the television? I'm trying to, like, contain whatever the fuck this is. Like, we were just attacked. This was the largest attack on a military base since the First World War. I was busy doing that because that's my job. Obviously, I haven't seen the television. What the hell are you talking about? VP's like, the camera crews caught everything. They were on base for Penelope's interview, so they were here for reasons. And I guess they just kept filming for reasons, hours after the interview. Did you know the witch plague took my daughter minutes after I left? Can you imagine how that makes me, her father, feel? Like, his white male tears come out, which I don't care about, and says to Petra, you, meaning Petra / the army, you were supposed to keep her safe. And the footage shows that she's dead. And it was your daughter that actually did the killing blow with her magic, her spell. Like, it's a curse word that he's saying out there. Petra, who didn't see any of the footage, had no fucking idea what the hell happened. She just knew Penelope's one of the dead. She remains calm despite what he's telling her and super diplomatic and says, listen, the army is conducting investigation. Because that's really the next step. Like, this, all hell broke loose. People are dead. We have to investigate this. This is a military matter. And he cuts her off again. And he's like, this is bigger than that. This is personal to me. It's a criminal matter. My daughter was murdered. I have a warrant for the arrest of your daughter. Which, what judge was awake to get this warrant happen real fast? That's all I'm saying. So they had to wake up a judge and be like, give me this. And he's like, listen, they're going to arrest your daughter and her unit for murder. And they're going to get tried in D.C., which is the capital of the U.S. So in his turf is what he's saying. And he storms out of the room. And Petra, after he leaves, loses her composure at that point and starts barks out like, get me the president, like his boss. Get me his boss. I have to fix this. Like, this is really fucking bad, what just happened.
The fact that he marched in there, used the word spell. Like a freaking teenage.
I know. It's gross. Everything about him's gross.
He's such a gross character.
Yeah, guess who wins the Laura Neal Award for this episode also? It's VP Silver! Throw him in the trash.
Good lord.
I know, he's disgusting.
That entire scene is like, it's sad in the beginning, talking about all the officers that are dead, and then all of a sudden, in comes this guy with everything he's saying that is like, it's one of those moments where you just want to scream at the television because you know the truth about his motives and what he's done.
Yep.
I hate it.
He's despicable.
I hate it here.
I hate it here.
Well, he's getting to work real quick on all this, but we're gonna go back to the common room at War College, where M is addressing the Coven and starts by saying that they all saw the unit take the life of an innocent young witch. And it was not an easy call to make, but it was the right call to make because they saved thousands of lives. And we're all here breathing because of you three. And then everyone in the room stomps. All the other witches stomp. And M continues their speech saying it took bravery, clear thinking in the face of oblivion, sense of duty and honor, and that they're proud to serve in this army alongside the unit. Thank God somebody is giving them the appreciation that they deserve for saving everyone's ass in that moment. So huge props to M.
I think not only M saying it, which is great, I think that the rallying of the rest of them in the room is important. I think what this is trying to show us is that the witches know the truth. They know what actually happened.
Exactly.
They were there. So while the Camarilla and VP Silver are going to try and spin this as murder and spin it for their agenda, the witches know the truth. So I think that's another thing that's going to just, in season 3, will help unite the witches. As it will further unite them. I think that's what this is also trying to show us, the scene.
Exactly. So nobody, it's giving you the sides, like yes. who's going to be on which side of all of this in general. Generally speaking, we'll say Tally is not over any of this, obviously, because who would be, but also she's Tally and is a cinnamon roll. And she says she looked me right in the eye. She was so scared. And she begged me in that last moment. But Abigail kind of leans over and says, hey, we saved lives. We had to do this. This was the horrible choice we had to make. But it was the right, basically reinforcing what M said and trying to comfort Tally, even though, you can't be really comforted in that moment. Yeah. But at least there's support there. Like, everyone is supporting them.
I think, too, Abigail is also trying to, basically tell
Deal
Tally...
with it herself.
Yeah, because Tally's doing what Alder did, right? Where she's like, I'm taking on the burden all myself. And Abigail's like, no, remember, this was a group decision. It wasn't just you. Yep. Don't take this on, all the burden on yourself, basically.
I know that you and Penelope were closer than Penelope and anyone else at Fort Salem, but this isn't all you.
Yeah.
We're a unit. We're all taking this on, and you didn't make that choice alone. So, hey.
Yeah, exactly. All of
You're not alone.
You're not alone. But yeah, she had the connection, so it hurts her the deepest. And also, she's an empath,
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, watching that, I can't even imagine.
I know.
But, unfortunately, the positive vibes are not going to persist for long because an aide comes in and remands the unit into custody with a good old Silver behind her.
Gross.
For the murder of Penelope. And M steps right in their path and was like, no, sir, not gonna happen. And the aide tells them to step aside. And Tally stands up and apologizes to Silver. I get it, Tally, but do not apologize to that man.
Fuck him. He needs to apologize to all you.
Fuck him.
And his daughter.
Yeah. It's like the reason you had to make that decision is because of him and the Camarilla.
Yeah.
I hate it here.
I hate it here. Throw in the trash.
I want to just hug the crap out of Tally right now, but Petra walks in, and then Silver leaves. Petra tells him to stand down, and that's when they do actually step aside. Then Petra assures Abigail that this is all going to be over before you know it. I don't think you know that for sure. And you know you don't know that for sure, Petra. This is like above. This has not happened before. This is new territory. Everything that's happening is new. And despite you trying to assure everyone, you can see that Petra is also lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I think she's trying to comfort herself, too. She's like, it's going to be fine. It's
exactly.
going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, Petra. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine.
Everyone.
Meanwhile, she's that meme of the dog in a burning room.
Yes. No, that is Petra. 100%. Trying to convince herself it's going to be fine.
Yep. So the unit's getting arrested, and while that's going down, we're going to cut to some more
het stuff.
More het stuff.
Gotta meet the quota.
Thankfully, there's no callback to the actual het stuff that was about to go down between these two. But Sterling comes to Anacastia's office to say goodbye and to say maybe we can try that again sometime. But she's like, listen, come over here. I got to show you something.
It's business time.
It's business. This is businesses. And she shows him the log from all of the gates at Fort Salem, and that 2 other additional TV crews were signed in through other gates using Sterling's signature. He's like, cops. He's like, yeah, I signed one in and I led them to Penelope's room because, civilians get lost on base. So that was it. That's all I did. And he says, those aren't my signatures. Like, these 2, not me. These are not me. And she looks at him for a second and considers, and then she says, I believe you. I'm like, but why do
you though?
But really?
Really? I wouldn't believe him.
I wouldn't have believed him just like that. I need more information.
Yeah, in the last episode, he was saying, oh, Silver's a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't believe this man.
Even if those weren't his signatures, he may have known about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anacostia, do you really believe him because y'all are about to get down and dirty, or are you just saying that? Please tell me that it's the latter.
Or she's like, okay, but you seem to trust me for some reason. Maybe I can use you in the future.
Yeah, maybe. I hope it's that one.
Me too. Also, I think side note, I think it's super fucked up that Silver is like, I'm down with the witch genocide, but my bodyguard's a witch. It's the hypocrisy. I hate it.
It's so Republican. Sorry.
It is. But also he's like a male witch. Because really, I think this is a lot of misogyny is playing into why they really hate the witches.
Mm-hmm.
This group of men hate the women. But he's like, I'll take a male witch. That's fine.
Over a female witch.
Barf.
Or a non-binary witch.
Right. Barf. Double barf.
95,000 barf.
Yeah. This scene gets a 0 out of 10.
Did he take it? Did he? No, thank you. Take it back.
Take it back. I hate it. Good on Anacostia, doing her intelligence work. Real quick.
5 points to Anacostia for that. I didn't need, could they just told us about this? I didn't want to see it.
I didn't need to see this. She could have just been in Alder's room, in Petra's office, been like, look at the things. It was Sterling. That's all we needed.
Can we do that or have more gay, please?
Yeah, I didn't need men in this scene. I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, here we are. Good on you, Anacostia. Was there any more to this scene? I don't think so.
No, there's not. That's pretty much it.
Okay. From here, we move over to the dungeon. Where the unit has been arrested, and they're in the cell with Nicta.
Because that's a recipe for fantasticness.
A scene I will enjoy immensely. And the scene and the unit is rightfully freaking out about their situation. Especially
Rael. Rael's like, somebody tell me this is gonna be okay.
Right. Yeah, I need a hug. And yeah, she's super
I need to talk on the phone.
Right. She's been revoked of her phone call because that's not how this works. And she's super confused about why they have to go to DC for this trial. Like, why can't we do it here? This is a military matter. And Abigail clarifies, it's not a trial we're going to. Basically, they're going to take us there and formally charge us. Like, that's the process. Have faith. My mom's got this. She's going to DC right now. Besides, the truth is on our side, and they'll see that in the footage. And I think part of Abigail is like trying to be the leader here to keep Rael and Tally calm as well as herself. Then the camera pans to Nicta. And she's up at the jail wall like, I don't know, ladies. Sounds to me like the Pitchfork Brigade is assembling. Burn, witch, burn. And she keeps repeating that over and over again until Abigail is like, shut the fuck up, Nicta. But Nicta keeps going because she's Nicta. And she's like, soon the angry mobs are going to be out in the streets, patrolling, rounding up witches and anyone else who's different. Rael snaps at this and says, can you just not be you right now? Like, can you not?
Lighten up?
Can you not? And Tally agrees Nicta's right because Nicta is right. This is the stuff human beings do all the fucking time. Like, violence and genocide against anyone who's labeled different. Like, this, to them, they're like, this is the Salem witch trial about to happen all over again. And truthfully, this, I think, there's a lot of social commentary in this particular episode, including this, because this is the shit that's happening in America and the world right now, where, you know, there's legislations being passed, othering gay people and going after marginalized groups left and right. It's the same thing. This is the conservatives in power trying to snuff out anybody who's different. And that's what Nicta's saying. She's like, they're just going to use this as an excuse to come after us like they did during the Salem witch trials. I hate it here even more.
Yeah, this is dumb.
Ugh.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Nicta continues, though. She's like, listen, pitchforks are going to come out. The civilian government's going to execute me. That's this. Here we are. I'm going to get that martyr's death I always knew was coming for me, which will rally the spree. Unfortunately, though, the three of you will not be so lucky. And I'm sorry for you. It's going to be bad. Because they're about to get scapegoated, is what she's alluding to.
Exactly! They're scapegoats for this bullshit.
Yeah, they're the scapegoats. That's why they were quote-unquote arrested for murder during an attack on a military base, which is ridiculous. And then there's a really rude commercial break. And when we come back to the jail, Abigail and Rael, I guess, calm down enough to pass out, so they're asleep. And Tally and Nicta are awake. And then we get part 2 of meaningful conversations between Tally and Nicta in jail. But this time, they're on the same side of the jail wall. So
Oops.
Literally, the two of them are on the same side. So this is symbolic and alludes to what's about to go down in this conversation and the two of them. In this scene, Tally is restless and just pacing back and forth, while Nicta is chilling on the bench, just watching Tally do this. And she says, "Wild times, huh, Red? This is all crazy, isn't it?" And Tally slips down into the adjacent bench and sighs and is like, "Is there any chance you could just stop calling me Red? Like, why do you keep saying this to me? You weirdo." And Nicta shakes her head like, "No, girl, this is me peak flirting, so I don't know what to tell you. This is just going to keep happening. You're no fun, Tally." After teasing Tally, the two of them relax a little, like they were breaking the ice between the two of them. And Nicta's emotional guard falls down, so she's much more comfortable around Tally, which is growth. And she gets extremely candid in this moment and confides in Tally, which this mirrors what went down in the last jail scene between the two of them when they opened up to each other, but this one is more honest, like immediately. In this scene, Nicta admits that she keeps thinking about what Albin said to her, how he thanked her and told her she showed humanity the true nature of the witch. And this spree, by extension, made the Camarilla's job much easier. And she says, "As much as I'm loath to agree with that genocidal piece of shit," yes, Queen, "he had a point." So this is Nicta. Remember in the last scene, between the two of them in the jail cell. Tally came to Nicta because Tally felt like she personally failed in her mission to bring out the truth and change the world. And she admits that basically to Nicta. In this scene, it's Nicta admitting her personal failure to Tally. So this is huge for Nicta. And also just devastating to have to come to terms with this reality. Because it's just like, she's just like, wow, like my last 30 years were for nothing, in a way, is what she's kind of has to own up to. Like, nothing happened the way I meant for it to happen. And I think it's so huge for her to vocalize this out loud to somebody. So it indicates that there is a real actual trust between her and Tally, or at least Nicta perceives that, which Tally did save her life after all. So I think this is very huge for the two of them as characters and how I think they're gonna like have each other's back going forward.
Absolutely.
After admitting that, Tally assures Nicta the crux of this whole episode, which is you did what you believed is right. Which is Tally just putting things into perspective and painting the bigger picture. And this is kind of like what happened with Alder. So she's putting all the pieces together for everybody. Like, everyone out here was just doing what they believed was right. Nicta, Alder, herself included with the unit when they killed Penelope. But the sad truth is, belief can allow those with opposing views to twist the truth to fit the narrative of what they believe in. Belief is fickle and can manipulate the truth, which is what the Camarilla is about to do with them. That's what Nicta's getting at, and she vocalizes out loud to Tally, plain and simple, and now the Camarilla is going to turn you into monsters for what you believed in. Just watch. They're going to scapegoat them, is what she's saying. And Nicta would know better than anybody because this is her whole story. Like, she just got her truth twisted by the Camarilla to make this all worse. And now here's Tally walking down Nicta's path, like in the eyes of the civilian. Like, their stories are very similar. I think part of Tally gets that, and she takes this a step further and vocalizes Nicta's new fear, which is that we all just helped the Camarilla out. We just furthered that anti-witch agenda by acting out our beliefs, and we played a part in something awful. Now Alder's gone, we're rotting in a jail cell, and they won. We all lost, they won. So Tally's getting really can't see the positive in any of this right now. She's just beating herself up and just like, we're doomed, we're fucked. Nicta tries to console her a little bit and says the battle's not over, Red. But even this little pet name Tally hates doesn't evoke a reaction. Like, Tally's too far gone in her feels right now, and she's pacing again and just word vomiting all her fears. And she's like, the truth is finally out, none of it matters. Like, I was trying to change things and made them worse. Like, I did change things, but I made everything so much worse. Like, and Jess kind of says this in After the Storm, that Tally's basically like, well, if I had never done this, we wouldn't be here. And she's having all this regret for her own actions and what she did. And I'm glad Nicta's there, because Nicta's the one who really puts things into perspective for Tally and says, listen, it wasn't all for nothing. Alder had to go. It was time. And you know that. But Tally, again, just can't see the good in anything right now. And she just says, if you say so. And then it ends.
Tragic.
Yeah. It's just that's the reality of just this whole situation, and how even when you're in the right, if enough people believe you were wrong, that becomes the new truth. And that's kind of what's about to happen to these witches. Camarilla, the president, or VP Silver, they're going to paint this picture that they were wrong, even though there's footage that shows we were right. But if they can frame the narrative that what they were doing was wrong, and enough people believe it, that becomes the new truth. So I think
that's why our history books are wrong.
Correct. And that's why history books are written by people who have biases and perspectives. And I think that Tally, the poor Tally, is being traumatized and coming to terms with all of this. And the fact that she played a part in something awful, I think, hurts Tally too.
Yes. It's very awful. Everyone's going to see them not as people or humans at their very core. They're just going to see them as these monsters, like Nicta said, and we need to get rid of the monsters. So
yeah, the true
here we
monster.
Go again.
Yeah, here we go again.
History repeating itself.
Correct. This is the New Age Salem witch trial era, is basically what she's saying. Yeah.
So, remember when Petra was asking for the president? Well,
sure
she just freaking goes to DC, and as soon as she walks into the not Oval Office,
I couldn't stop fixating on that because when you mentioned it, I was like, this isn't even a close replica.
No, it's so not small.
What is this room?
It's a closet.
It is. It's so weird. Yeah, I couldn't stop. I had to like rewind this scene to pay attention because I was just fixated on like, what is this room? So you were in my brain. Thanks.
I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry, because every time I see any, like, this scene, I can't help it.
Yeah.
Like, why are you in this broom closet, Wade?
I know, right?
So Wade says that Petra brought the storm with her because we hear thunder outside, and...
We sure do.
We sure as heck do, because Petra's here, and... She starts off by trying to be diplomatic and saying that she understands Silver's grief, but hello, the unit saved the day, and so many people would have died without their actions. But Wade is just like, oh yeah, save the day by murdering a girl. Hi, that's not what happened, and you're on the freaking Fox News train right now, and I'm not happy about it, Kelly. What happened?
Yeah, I love how, like, there's, like, 80 plus witches that died that nobody cares about, and they're not framing Penelope as a witch. They're like, a girl. A girl. She's not a witch.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's such bullshit.
Because she's always been a witch, guys. Just because she was not out as a witch that whole time doesn't mean she's not. Good God.
I know. Yeah. I know. It's ridiculous.
This is typical Washington, D.C. bullshit.
Correct.
/human bullshit.
Correct.
So Petra argues that Penelope was the source of the contagion and thousands would have perished. But Wade is not going to hear this and is just like, well, we just need to understand what happened. Mm-hmm. What happened was on the tape. Hi. Your interpretation of what happened is bullshit.
Uh-huh.
Which is when the tape comes up, because we're watching Fox News, or at least a little portion of that whole footage. Because Kelly needs to prove her point. But really, all this does for anyone watching this show is tell you that she's halfway up the freaking Camarilla tree and buying into everything for her own sake. Maybe. I don't think that Kelly really has the hatred for the witches that the Camarilla and the vice president and all these folks do, but she's just trying to navigate her way out of a political...
Yeah, I think for her it's more personal and political, because, like, Alder's been fucking with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like a power struggle with Kelly. I don't think she's part of the Camarilla, and I think she's just using this as a way to, like, regain power over the witches.
She is.
To be like, I'm the president, I'm the boss.
I'm the president, I'm the boss, we're going to do this on civilian terms.
Right, exactly.
You're not running this investigation.
Right.
Which, I mean, it kind of, in a way, if you want to think about it from a very pragmatic / objective thing, like Petra running an investigation, which she wouldn't be personally running it, but, you know, the visual of this being like her daughter was the one that was involved would be like, no, this is a conflict of interest. But here we are. This is not what's going on. That's not why Wade is upset about this. It's because all the things that Alder did to her, and the fact that she's in a shitty position as far as needing to regain her power, and everyone's seeing her as weak.
Right. Because
the witches are doing this on her watch. So basically, she shows Petra the video and cuts off just to cut off Petra's appeal that she needs to handle this in-house, as in like the army needs to handle this. And then afterwards, she goes on to talk about how not our daughters are going to use Penelope's death as a symbol. They're growing exponentially. The public needs to see that the army, no witches, are held accountable for their actions.
Yeah, and this is the damage that the spree caused.
Yes.
Truly, because it was witches not controlling witches. So I think Wade's like, we're past that. We need to control you now. We, the civilians.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we need to exert the power of the civilian government and the civilian people over you witches, because you guys have gotten to this point. You freaking puppeted me. It's clear, like, that you can't handle this shit. Craziness. It's now clear to me and everyone else that the unit's about to be a scapegoat to pacify the masses.
Yep.
So there's thunder in the background that keeps happening, and then Wade accuses Petra of making the storm worse every time she says something that Petra doesn't like.
Yes.
Petra tries one more time by saying, I'm urging you to reconsider. And then Wade makes a mistake, in my opinion. Because she says, with what? Storm and fury? Shaking her hands like it's like little jazz hands or something. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Wade is over the witches.
Wade's over the witches, but you don't make fun of the witches like that to the head witch in charge. Because that's not a good idea. Petra her voice gets really low and really serious. And this is Petra done trying to placate. She's done with Wade's bullshit. And she says, you'll know when the storm is one of mine.
Yeah, bitch.
Exactly. And then Wade is like, there's been this huge outcry and demand for justice. But Petra's done talking. She's not going to try anymore. It's obvious that this is a lost cause. And then Wade says, I will see that they're treated fairly. And yeah, the fuck right.
Oh, she says that like, I'll make sure they're treated fairly. Like by my standards. Yeah. Like they're going to die is what she's saying. This is a death sentence.
Yeah, they're going to be fucking executed. They're on death row. That's what basically that is saying.
Yeah, it's going to be fair for me, President Wade.
So Petra does not have anything to say back to that, and argument-wise, all she says is, thank you for your time, Madam President. And then leaves. She just makes like a Alder and leaves.
Yeah.
That's a tree joke for anybody.
She does a witch mic drop and gets the fuck out of there.
She does. And on her way to the helicopter, she far speeches Anacostia, because that's the only word I can find to really describe it, and says, move. So they had a backup, a plan B in place. And then we switch the scene to Anacostia, who picks up the phone, who was on standby. She picks up the phone, and who answers? Papa Collar.
Papa Collar. I love it.
And then Anacastia's like, hi, I'm a friend of Rael's. Can I talk to Cilla?
Where's Cilla? Hi, I'm Rael's bestie. Where's her girlfriend? I gave them up.
Rael and I braided each other's hair last night.
Is she, quote unquote, doing dishes in the background? I'm sure she is.
Yes.
I know.
Can I talk to Cilla, please?
Yeah, right. Can I talk to Cilla? It's like the kid who calls to play with their friend. And they're like, hi, Papa, can I talk to your daughter? So we can play.
Can Cilla come out and play?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that so much. That she's like, Anacostia is immediately calling her bestie.
That was the energy, because she wasn't being like commanding officer. She was like, hey Edwin, Rael's friend. Can I talk to Cilla? Nothing suspicious.
We all go to the mall together.
Yeah. This isn't weird. This is normal.
Like, I know Cilla doesn't really like to go to the mall, but
she wants to go to the mall. Trust me, she wants to go to this mall. It's her favorite mall.
Yeah. I loved it so much.
I loved it.
But basically, it's like, so all of our plans have fallen through. Can Cilla please come save everyone's ass?
Thank you. That is literally what this is. That's the Hail Mary, is Cilla Ramshorn, the only witch in the world as powerful as Alder. She can save our asses. That's what this is, literally. Once again, Cilla saving everyone's ass. And they know it. The fucking general knows it.
Yeah, so pretty much what had happened here was Petra's like, okay, listen, we're going to need a plan B. So what have you got? And Anacostya's like,
Cilla Big Witch
Cilla Ramshorn.
Yeah. That's where the big witch energy comes from. Her. Get her. We need her.
Yeah, so
I'll call.
We don't think that she doesn't know about Morgan's Whisper.
Right. Exactly. They're just like, we need Cilla. I'm sure she can do it. We need Cilla. That's what it is. She can do
Cilla.
it. Mm-hmm. Cilla.
The only person that can save this is Cilla Big Witch Energy Ramshorn.
Correct.
So,
she is correct. Well done, Army.
This
is a plan that makes sense. I love it. I just have one last thing to say about the Wade Petra thing.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick before we move on. Another thing I think is important to take away from that whole exchange between the two of them and the way it ends is that I think it's highlighting the bigger picture here in this society, in that witches are powerful. Like, they are the ones with the actual power. They can do the magic. They have the actual power. But their power has its limits being imposed on them by society. Because in all reality, Petra could just puppet Wade and have her, like, sign some shit that's like, Abigail's exonerated forever. Or she could kill Wade. Or she could wage her own war because she has the fucking army in the name of justice for her daughter, but she can't. All she can do in this moment is hear the president essentially vocalize her daughter's death sentence, and she just has to sit there and take it. Because this is the societal structure the civilians always wanted. It's like, yeah, I mean, originally they wanted to get rid of the witches. Then they're like, okay, you can be useful to us, but the minute you're not useful anymore, we're going to exert our power over you and keep you guys in a cage. And this is kind of the bigger picture that, like, Cilla was always talking about. And, like, Nicta is really trying to say, it's like they're keeping us in cages, like, metaphorically, and, like, clipping our magical wings so that we're not a threat to them. So it highlights that, like, the witches, even the most powerful ones, have limits in this society, and it sucks.
It does. It's always been this way since Alder made that deal. Yeah. Even that deal is absolutely unfair to the witches. Yes. Everything about that whole situation, and that's what Nexus has been saying for how many years now?
Yeah. Yeah.
She went about it in not the best way, but
no.
There wasn't much else. Like, what was she gonna do?
Right, what was she gonna do? I mean, because I assume with witches, it's like their only function in this society is forced military service. So, like,
exactly.
they can't. The way to actually change this in America is to change the laws. Since witches can only be military people, they can't be politicians. So at the end of the day, they are at the mercy of non-witches creating the laws that dictate everybody's lives, and they have no say in how that goes. They're truly enslaved by this. So, like, in order to get this changed, they'd have to rally enough sympathy to, like, change the law. But that takes fucking forever, and that would take way too long. And Nicta was young at the time. She's like, fuck it, let's just blow it up and be revolutionaries. And that obviously didn't work. So it's like, they're trapped in this horrible situation. And, like, the way revolutions happen, hence the name of this episode, is violently. When they don't happen peacefully, which is not the norm. So things like civil rights movements, rarely are they peaceful. It's abnormal when they're peaceful. Usually the masses get pissed off enough and then wage a war. And in the aftermath of the violence, that's when the change happens. So, like, that's where this is now headed, basically. Hence the title of this episode.
Yep. Ugh. Everything you just said there, resounding yep.
A big ol' yep.
Yepper yeppers.
So while Wade and Petra are breaking up their friendship, quote unquote.
Short-lived.
Yeah, they're short-lived. They are now frenemies officially, but the friend part is gone.
Mm-hmm.
In Fort Salem, we're back in Khalida's room, and she's sitting on her desk staring at the soot stain on the floor where she moltenized that creepy dude. And she's lost in thought because, like, keep in mind, like, this was her first kill ever. So she has some PTSD and things to work through. While she's doing that, Adil is fixing the doorknob because I guess they broke some stuff and he's, like, fixing things. I think he's trying to keep himself busy because he's worried about Abigail. And Khalida, being Khalida, knows that. And so she asks, are you worried about Abigail? Now, Adil's in the position to try and convince himself everything's fine. And he vocalizes things out loud. Like, you know, her mom's powerful. It's a formality. Like, it'll be fine. But, like, he's trying to convince himself it's going to be fine. And he's like, but Khalida, why are you so worried about this? Are you starting to like Abigail? Like, who the fuck are you? What is happening? And Khalida, like, agrees by not saying anything at all. And they have this very cute, like, moment. He's like, oh, you like my girlfriend. Thanks. That means a lot.
Yeah, she's like, don't look behind you.
Yeah, no, don't look at my, the wall. It's just fix the doorknob. And he thanks her, for saving his life. So, like, bringing up the elephant in the room. And Khalida explains why she did that. Because I think she was, like, reflecting on her actions, because that's what she does. And essentially says, like, something broke in me when I saw that you were about to die. And whatever it was that broke will not go back together again. Like, basically saying, I've been changed by this. This changed me forever. And Adil, I think, empathizes and gets how hard this is for her, because he went through it himself when, like, he saved Abigail. Like, the same thing happened to him. And he says, defending yourself and your loved ones isn't a crime, Khalida. It's not a crime. Even though we were raised in an environment where that was, like, the worst possible thing you could do, he's like, there's worse things in life than defending yourself and the people you love. But to Khalida, I think her first kill is more than just defending her brother. And she says, I saw the hate in his eyes. And it's the kind of hate that never stops. Which is basically the Camarilla motto. So I think she, being Khalida, saw the bigger picture here. Like, these people are not just, like, killing us. Like, they vehemently hate us. And, like, I think she gets, like, they're not going to stop until we're all dead. I think she finally saw the bigger picture of all of this versus just, like, sticking to her morals or her traditions or whatever. After that realization, she finally apologizes to Adil for judging him and not empathizing with him. And I think why is because I think she couldn't see things from his point of view until she was in his position and about to lose the person she loved. And says, well, now that I've gone through this and I see the true hatred and the true evil, I want to fight instead of running and hiding. And this is humanizing Khalida, who is like this oracle goddess kind of figure. Now she's being brought down to human level. And I think this is more social commentary. Because I think a big issue we have as a species is that we have a hard time empathizing and truly empathizing. Not tolerating people, but actually empathizing and seeing things from the opposing point of view. I think for most people, they can't do it until they are in the position themselves. Like Khalida was. So she's like, Adil, how dare you kill people? But then when she's in the position where she had to defend her brother, she did it and was like, I get it now because I lived through it. It's kind of like the stuff with, like, homophobic people where they're like, fuck gay people. But then when it's their kid or somebody they know, they're like, okay, I guess they're humans. I get it now. Like, they can't see it until they're in the position. And I think that's what this is really trying to, like, get at here. And after this reconciliation moment between the two of them, Mama Kasi comes in. And she's like, hey, Earth Movers, we gotta go. Abigail's in danger. And they leave.
Hey, you guys can move the Earth, right? Let's go. We need your help. Because I called in the big gun.
Cilla Ramshorn is on her way. We gotta go and back her up.
Yep.
Scylla, Big Witch Energy Ramshorn waits for no one. We gotta go. Yeah, I don't care who the fuck you are.
Let's go.
Let's go. We gotta go.
Yeah. All right. So we're on to the big scene. It's the big one, guys. It's the big scene.
It's
The Great Escape.
Yes, that's what I titled it. The Great Escape. It is.
And all I can think about is that motorcycle going over. Okay, that's also a movie that probably no one but me has seen.
Oh, I think of the song. What is it? Boys Like Girls, the Great Escape song.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a good song. Find it if you want early 2000s nostalgia.
Okay, I'll have to find that. I think you went early 2000s and my brain goes back to the 60s.
What is time, everyone? What is time?
Yeah, with the actual prison break.
Yeah, the prison break.
I'm sorry, wasn't
it Alcatraz Escape?
Yeah. Well,
no, I know nothing.
Prisoners of War.
There it is. Okay.
Escaping from a camp.
Gotcha. So it's applicable. Anyway,
World War II. Let's move on. So the prison bus is just moving along down the road, looking as institutional as possible. And Abigail, Nicta, and Tally are on board, not having a good time, singing 99 Bottles.
Seriously.
When we get a shot of Adil and Khalida in the freaking bushes to the side of the road. And they do their thing and open up the earth in front of the bus, which swerves and stops to avoid going into the giant crevasse that has been created. And then we see crows start to descend towards the bus. And we get a shot of Abigail seeing that the earth is opened up in front of the bus, and she knows that Adil's here to rescue her.
Yep.
Rael gets a witch text.
Yeah. She knows who's here to rescue her.
Witch texting is back, so we know Cilla is in the house. I mean, we knew when the crows came down, but
no one else knew that.
But now Rael knows, and so when the S appears on her hand, she tells everyone to duck, or screams at everyone to duck.
Yes.
So the crows start to fly around the bus and the windows break, and that lets all the sound in from the crows squawking and cawing. And then the guards get up and unlock the shackles on all the witches. And then the witches in turn start to take the silencing collars off of one another. The guards, in the meantime, leave the bus and walk away like zombies.
And do
because
who the fuck knows what?
Because Cilla. So
she's like, you go in those woods and have fun navigating.
Yeah. Go sit in a circle and kumbaya or something.
Yeah.
Adil and Khalida come out of the woods from the side of the road, and Adil automatically goes to Abigail. And then Quinn and Cilla get out of Quinn's truck and run towards the bus. So you've got they're all being reunited. Abigail and Adil over there. We've got Raylla hugging, and then Quinn and Tally hug. Nicta, in the meantime,
needs a hug.
Nicta doesn't get hugged.
No.
Nicta goes to the front of the bus, finds a spree lighter.
She does.
In the little console area of the prison bus. I mean, was it a spree lighter, or is it just a lighter that was there from one of the guards? Who knows?
Who knows?
It's convenient.
It is.
However, she gets off the bus, looks super awkward.
She does.
But hot.
It's super hot.
With that hand in her pocket.
That's
and that
what
lighter in the other.
Nicta.
Yep, that's what it is.
Confidently getting off of buses is my sexuality. Just throwing that
there
out
you go.
Arlen does not agree with me, and that's fine. We disagree here. Maybe don't be so confident then.
However, I do think Arlen appreciated that you appreciated. So there was that.
She basically is like, in this moment, Nicta is just like, what the fuck do I even do here? And she's like scared, but is projecting all this confidence to cover up the fact that she doesn't know what the fuck's going on and she doesn't know what to do. So it's the projection of confidence that makes this delicious. But she is being super awkward about it, which is, who doesn't?
It's very
love
gay.
It's
honestly,
it's the gayest. I love her so much. She does weird stuff in this scene too, but this moment,
yeah,
this is what
great.
Isadora
I love
had to
it.
bring me back. Yes. Anyway. Thank you, Arlen / Nicta.
So this is basically what we've come to, that they really had to balance out with all the het in this episode.
They did.
Because we're about to get a class in how to flirt 101 with Cilla Ramshorn.
And how to forget that there are other people around you when there are other people around you.
Exactly. So Scylla's crows witch text Rael from the sky.
Listen, she's the gayest. She's the gayest. She couldn't just be like, listen, I saved your life. Also, like, look, I invented skywriting with crows. Like, Cilla. She can't just, she's so extra. She's always the most extra person ever. I love, you're a queen, ma'am. May we all bow down to your sapphic skills. You're setting the bar high. Yes, we are bowing. No one can see this, but that's what we're doing.
You have now surpassed Lesbian Jesus.
No, like, for real, this is the gayest. This was so unnecessary, and it was just like, I'm showing off for you. Yeah, it's the best. Go, Cilla.
Oh my god.
She's holding, no, because she's holding nothing back now. The minute Rael said, I love you, she's like, all bets are off. It's on. All of it. Here's all the flirting. All of it. Here it is. Just look at all the stuff I can do. I don't have to hide anymore.
Yes.
I
will skywrite your initials.
Yeah. No, like, I'm pretty sure.
Say, will you marry me in crows?
I'm pretty sure. Well, we'll get there eventually. Right. But, like, I'm pretty sure we cut away, but, like, the crows are spelling the rest of her name in cursive. We just don't see it.
Yes,
like, she's so
exactly.
The birds are like, are we done yet? Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. I'm tired.
They're not even looking. The bus is moving. Anyway, sorry. I love how extra and unnecessary that was.
So extra.
It's great. It's the gayest. Go, Cilla. You're a fucking queen.
It's not only that, it's the way Amalia plays the scene.
Yeah, I know. She's smug as
fucking
fuck.
cocky.
Smug as fuck. Like, yeah, you like that, girl? I could do. There's so many other things I could do. You haven't seen it yet. Tip of the iceberg. Yeah. It's so good. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it so much.
That's probably my favorite line, is the way she delivered that.
You like that?
Yes, we all like that.
Yes, marry me.
Also, teach Nikta how to flirt properly. You guys should hang out. She's failing hard.
Yeah, you guys need to she needs to take your class, Cilla.
Seriously, she's like, stop calling Tally red all the time. Just do something. Invent magic for her. Don't use your words. You're bad at it.
You're really good at inventing magic, Nikta. Get on it.
Yeah, get on my level. You can do this too. This could be you.
Witch texting? Hi, I did that.
Hey. Exactly.
So that's what we get that line. So Rael's just like, you just keep getting better. And it's like, yeah.
No, she's gotten better at many things, Rael.
Yeah, the many iceberg. Things. Just wait. You guys have been apart for a while.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway.
Whew, yes. It got hot in here.
Yeah, a little hot in here. Scylla's like, you like that? And that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
All of this, like,
we like it.
Woo, that confidence.
Yes.
So Rael thanks Cilla for saving her life. Again, nobody else does, but Rael.
Thank you, Rael. Yes.
Cilla tells the truth again and says, well, it's the least I could do.
Yeah, once again, being like, yes, I saved the day and I saved your life. Humble as fuck.
Yeah!
Like, she was confident 3 seconds ago about the bird texting in the sky. But then it's like, you saved my life, which is way more impressive than bird texting. And she's like, whatever. It was nothing. Cilla!
Exactly. Nothing. It's cool. I got you, boo.
She has, her priorities are straight. Well,
yes, they are.
Nothing is straight here. But, like, she has them in a row. Cilla's being the gayest right now. It's so great.
Just all that. Good God, girl.
This is why this scene is amazing.
It is so amazing.
It's so amazing.
So Rael says she's just laying it out there too. All right, you're gonna witch text me in the sky. I'm just gonna tell you how it is. I don't want to be apart from you anymore.
Ultimate U-Haul. I'm ultimate U-Hauling right now. Ultimate U-Haul. Ultimate U-Haul. Let's do this.
And Cilla says, me either, like ever, which is the most teenage thing she's ever said.
That's so cute.
It's adorable.
It's so cute. Good for you, Cilla.
And then they get the most real gay kiss that I've seen in a hot damn while.
Correct.
I love that's such a good kiss.
It's so good. However, the first time I watched this, there's this part where the camera pans and Nicta's in the background. Like, watching them? Okay, I laughed so hard. I was like, what is she doing? And Nicta's hilarious. She's just awkwardly watching them. Like, she's like, what the fuck is up with these two? Every time I see them, they're making out like the world is ending. Like, who are these people? Like it's just so funny. She's just creepily watching them like, why does this keep happening? Like, why do I keep ending up 3 feet away from you guys making out? It's so funny.
She's like, God, this is a gay. She's jealous because she doesn't get to
She's
make
damn, I gotta
out.
get me a girlfriend. What's Tally doing? Why is she hugging that other? Who's this other woman? Quinn? Who the fuck are you?
Who's this lady? No,
Yeah.
just like, you're so right though. Like she's just right back. She's pulling know what she's doing?
What?
She's pulling a porter.
Okay, but it's less creepy when it's Nicta. Nicta didn't want to be there.
Much less creepy.
She's like, I'm trapped, and you guys are always making out in front of me. Why does this keep happening to me? What did I do wrong?
I think she ships it hard, honestly.
She definitely ships it hard. She ships him so hard. In the woods scene, she was the one who's like, come on, Abigail, let's let them make out.
Yeah, let's go.
But she's like, in front of my lighter? Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, in front of my lighter.
But it's so funny. If you've never noticed Nicta doing this, it's hilarious. Go back and watch it just for that. Because it's so, like, out of nowhere. And she's like, what? But look on her face. It's hilarious. I love it. Love you, Nicta.
I've seen this scene so many times that I did notice that, and I love it too.
I love it.
But,
anyway.
So.
Best kiss ever. Good job, guys.
And then the homophobia starts.
Yeah, Quinn. She was getting, like, heated stares from Nicta, who's like, if I can't have Tally, no one can have anybody. And Quinn's like, fine, I'll be the adult.
Fine. You guys, break it up. We need to get, like, shit done here. You can't be making out in the middle of the road.
I guess the government's coming after us or whatever.
Yeah, like, maybe we need to do something about this.
Yeah. Make out on the bus.
Maybe you need to make the reunion short and sweet. Fuck you, Quinn.
No, Quinn. Let them do whatever they want.
And I do love that one of our mutual acquaintances took a picture of that scene and edited Quinn out of it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. There you go, guys. I fixed it. Thank you for your service, editors of the world.
So then some government issue weather that Quinn points out starts happening and surrounds all of them and the bus. Because guess what? The government's coming to get them.
That was fast.
And then, exactly.
Where the fuck did they come from? Where the fuck were they?
The zombie guards are off in the middle of the damn woods by now.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Like,
they came from
I know.
Okay, wait. They came from like the opposite direction too of the bus. It's like where were they? Where I don't know. It's so weird.
Is there some kind of like GPS tracking on the bus and they're like, oh, it stopped. We gotta go
shit,
check
it stopped.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Whatever.
Super weird.
Anyway, moving on. Who should descend from the sky but Petra and Anacostia? And the moment that's about to happen is one that I really love. I think it's probably my favorite Petra moment ever.
So good.
Period. So, Petra and Abigail hug, and Abigail says that she's scared, and Petra is like, me too, girl.
Yeah, she gets so real.
She gets so real with Abigail for the first time.
Yes.
And Abigail's like, I'm sorry, what did you say? And Petra says, I'm scared shitless. What have I done, daughter? So she needs a pep talk, and Abigail's going to step up to the plate.
Yeah, totally.
Because she says, your moment came, and you seized it with both hands. Elliot! You're writing.
It's so good.
And Petra goes on to say, and the world fell apart. And Abigail counters that with, all the better to remake it in our image.
Boom. Someone needs to give Tally this pep talk. Nicta.
Somebody go talk to Tally.
Nicta. Say this part of like, hey, we could remake the world.
You're being held hostage with all these awkward people. Can you not like overhear this and then go have a conversation.
Yeah, but oh my god, like what a powerful conversation this is. Like it's like you
so
said,
good.
First time ever Petra's humanized. Honestly. And it's just admitting like, hey, I know I'm in charge, but like I don't know what to do either. Which is so real, because like in times of like unprecedented situations, like oftentimes we think our leaders know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing most of the time. They have to act like they know what they're doing. And so like for her to admit this to Abigail, it's like finally they're equals, you know? I feel
Thank you, exactly.
Yeah, it's been building to this, and we kind of saw like glimpses of it, of Petra like acknowledging, okay, Abigail, if you want to go after the Camarilla, sure. Like, but this is them on equal footing finally. It's so huge. Yeah. I feel like that has never happened really with the Bellwethers, because there's always this like hierarchy within that family, like with the generations and like probably like the branches of that family kind of thing. But like to have a mother and daughter on equal footing, I'm sure that's never happened ever. So this is so huge.
Absolutely. Because they're in a new situation. The situation has not happened before. Yeah. And this is Petra being vulnerable and admitting I'm making this up as I go. I don't know what I'm doing. I may have made a mistake, but and Abigail's going, it's okay, because we're gonna take this moment and make it our own. And we're going to get through this. Basically, it's their role reversal a little bit, but also them being equals.
Yes, it's so great. They're evolving. It's awesome.
And I hope that Abigail continues to evolve in season 3 by acknowledging that Cilla, Big Witch Energy Ramshorn, has saved everyone's lives multiple times.
Yes, when we get on the bus, can we get on there and be like, round of applause, everyone, to Cilla, Big Witch Energy Ramshorn. We'd all be fucking dead if it wasn't for her ass multiple times saving us. Cilla, if you want to drive the bus as an honor. And she's like, no, like, fuck you. I'm sitting on Rael's lap. Leave me alone. I'm fucking tired.
I have snuggling to do.
Yeah, you drive the bus, Abigail. Anyway.
Quinn can drive. We're going to make out in the back.
And Tally's like, and Nick does like, I'm going to sit in the back away from all of you. Because why am I here? You guys are all creeps.
Why am I here? No,
anyway.
Obviously, in my mind, Nicta sits in the very front seat opposite the driver, because everyone else is in the back because they're the cool kids.
I like that, yeah. Yeah.
So she just has conversations with Quinn the entire.
Like, who the fuck are you? Who are you? Tell me stuff.
Who are you? Tell me
Why
who
are you here?
And then they become friends. Yeah. So that's how Quinn and Nicta become friends.
Nicta needs a friend, and so does Quinn, because Quinn's like, why the fuck am I here? How did I get?
Yeah,
what do you mean I'm a refugee?
These kids.
Quinn didn't sign up for this. Let's keep all this in mind. Anyway,
these crazy kids.
You know what? Wait, okay, so I'm sorry. This episode's gonna be long as fuck. Sorry, everybody. But anyway, I just thought of something. So why is Quinn here? Because Anacostia called Cilla. So I assume they had a conversation, and Cilla's like, God, I need backup. And then she goes to Quinn, and she's like, hey, Quinn, want me to teach you that Morgan's Whisper thing? And Quinn's like, yeah, I want to learn. Not knowing that they were going to go on this mission and Quinn was going to become a refugee. Like, she had no idea this is where this was headed. She's like, God damn it, I left the stove on. Fucking Cilla.
I had some stew going.
Right. She's like, I gotta make some calls. Yeah. So poor Quinn got bamboozled into whatever this is.
Yeah. Sounds like I need a ride. So.
Yeah, in the bus, she's like, so Quinn, I'm so sorry. So they don't talk for a while because Quinn's mad. She's like, I'm gonna make friends with Nicta. Leave me alone.
Exactly.
Anyway, so that's some fan fiction about the bus.
The best part about this is our headcanons. Believe us.
Agreed.
Like in the
there's so many about this bus, but yeah, anyway.
So many. We have so many. So basically, we get the next discussion is Anacostia and Cilla, because they're buddies now that they went on secret missions together.
Yes.
And Anacostia says to Cilla, quite the militia. So you can tell who the fuck's in charge. Like, there are like two people that are, I feel like there's like two people in this group that are going to share like the actual decision-making power, and it's the two people who actually know how to be on the run.
Yeah.
Cilla and Nicta.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The only two people who know how to survive out in the wild.
And maybe,
I mean, I'm sure
Quinn
knows to a degree.
Yeah, right. Who knows what the fuck her backstory really is? So maybe Quinn. But yeah, nobody else is everyone's else out of water, you know?
Yeah. So they're all going to have to put up with Abigail trying to exert her will.
I know.
To some extent. In my mind, this is again headcanon.
Oh, you know what? Who else? The Tarim know how to hide. Just not in the session specifically, but they know how to hide.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to
the unit. The unit's the oddballs out.
The unit, yeah. They're just like, huh.
Well, fuck.
Okay.
Better than jail.
Going to do whatever the fuck Cilla says.
Literally. She's like, it's whatever my wife tells me to do. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Callie, listen to Nick. Abigail, shut up.
Yeah. So Anacostia and Cilla have their reunion, and Anacostia says, quite the militia, you guys, and then tells her that they need to disappear fast and for quite a while. And Cilla's like, I'm way ahead of you. We're just going to go west and get lost in the session. And then asks what Anacostia is going to do. To which Anacostia replies that she and Petra are going to go back to base. And then Cilla says, back to the belly of the beast. I worry for the beast.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Anacostia's pep talk.
Yeah, because I mean, like, realistically, I'm sure Petra would love to desert and be with her daughter to make sure her daughter's okay. But, like, realistically, somebody has to run the army because otherwise they're about to get fucked by all of this. So they're making a sacrifice in a way too, you know.
They are. So Cilla and Anacostia hug, and Anacostia says we'll be in touch.
Quarter horn.
And then Cilla says, yes, ma'am, again, but affectionately.
Affectionate.
And this was like totally an Amalia thing.
I know. This was such a genius callback. Thank you for giving us this. It's so fucking good.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
we love it here.
Quarter horn forever.
Yes.
I love them.
So from that reunion, we go to Tally, who is like, listen, we got to take Nicta with us. And Petra's like, no, wait. No. But Rael's not having it. And she's like, no, we're not handing her over to the government. So you can forget that. And then Nicta silences all the argument by using her confiscated lighter to change the appearance of the bus from like generic prison bus to senior.
Oh, I love this. It's a senior citizen party bus.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Nicta is just the hottest. She's like, while you guys are all arguing or whatever, I'm like 10 moves ahead of you. Look at my bus. My getaway bus. But I have to talk about the details of this fucking bus for like a second because it shows you how fucking smart she is. She picks a senior citizen bus with a Florida license plate. I love this touch because no one would ever question this bus in Florida because it's just a bunch of senior citizens. And also, like, if they don't know how to exist in civilianhood, like at least 3 of them. So nobody is going to question a group of people being super weird if they're from Florida. So thank you, Nicta. This was brilliant cover. Like, it's brilliant chameleoning. Thank you.
Okay, and I want to see them all burned their faces into old like elderly people.
Then we can get new biddies. Yes. Let's do it. Then we can get some elderly actresses.
Do you like the Golden Girls Motherland for Salem edition?
Yes. Nicta, make it happen. Please. I'm here for that. I'm here for that
too. Like,
Hell
let's do it.
Let's do it. No one would question anything about that. That'd be great.
Exactly. And you're right about the Florida thing, because that's just like, damn.
Well, the first time I saw it as somebody who lived in Florida for way too long, I laughed my ass off. I'm like, of course it's a Florida, because all of this is a hot mess. Of course they picked Florida. But like looking at it further to like the senior citizen party bus from Florida, that checks out. That's a real thing.
Yeah, listen, we've both lived in Florida, and
it's awful.
To anyone who loves it there, I don't understand it, but go off, I guess. But
it's only getting worse. But like, I love that Nicta was like, yeah, let's do this. This is the most plausible for our insane getaway. I love it. Good details.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so Nicta's going to silence all of that argument with the bus, and then Anacostia says people can change, and maybe she can keep them safe, because Anacostia has taken the brain cell. And Nicta saunters forward.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
Saunters forward.
She swaggers.
And asks if they're going to blame all of this on the spree, because that's what they love to do.
Oh, wait, before she says that, she calls everyone ladies again.
Yeah.
And it's really hot every time she does that. She keeps doing it. Keep doing it. It's so hot.
For me, it's like adorably awkward, and I love it. I'm here for it.
It's like, hey, ladies. And it's like, yes, please keep saying that.
Yeah.
I love her.
So, she's just saying, like, listen, I know you, like, she's trying to, like, foster some kind of conversation that's not awkward and failing. Yes. Because she's just like, you're gonna blame this on the spray, aren't you? Just, like you always do. And Petra's like, okay. But she's like she's like, okay, fine, you're awkward as hell, and I just like have one thing to say: keep them safe with everything you've got. And Nicta says, I'll see what I can do. So they've come to an understanding of sorts through everything that's happened in this episode. And then we have Abigail and Petra hugging again. Anacostia makes a gap in the swirling storm for them to get out. And then everybody's piling on the bus. And Nicta is standing there waiting for Tally.
My awkward little flirter.
And she thanks Tally for saving her ass a couple of times, and the way she's looking up at her through the eyelashes, it's like the sweet Jesus.
Yes. Yes. She's charming. That's what I'm saying.
It's like the second gayest thing that's happened in this scene.
Yeah, it's rivaling the bird texting. Nicta, come on now.
Lord.
She's getting better. She
just still needs lessons.
She does. She needs to talk to Cilla. Yeah.
She does. She really and like have a little convo.
Seriously.
She thanks Tally for saving her ass a couple of times and tells Tally not to be so glum because this is what she wanted.
Yeah, this is what you wanted. It is, though. Tally wanted to change the world, and this is how you change the world.
Exactly. She just was not prepared for what that entails. Yeah. And Tally's like, chaos, destruction, death, becoming a fugitive. And Nicta answers her, the revolution.
Yeah,
that's what this is.
Yeah, that's what it is, girl.
The last shall be first, and all the good stuff. Here we go.
So, I don't understand why Nicta is quoting the Bible. But here we are. This is Matthew 20:16, or an abbreviated version. The full quote and all that stuff is basically, so the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. And it's basically saying, like, okay, we were just at rock bottom. The Camarilla won today. Like, they won. Like you said, in the jail. But it's not over, basically. Those who have, are rock bottom today, we're going to keep fighting, and we're going to come out on top of all of this. And, like, we've been chosen, essentially, quote unquote, for this revolution that's going to happen. We're playing a part in this, and also we chose to be here and fight for what we believe in. And so, like, basically it's like, don't worry, Tally, even though today was crap and horrible, we're going to keep fighting, and we're going to come out on top. Like, you got to believe, and, like, that's what revolution and change is all about. It's not something that happens overnight. There's no switch that's turned and everything's changed. It's a struggle. It's it takes time, it takes fighting, it takes sacrifice, and it's not all good, but in the end it'll be worth it because, like, we the witches will be first.
Exactly.
Love it. Thanks, Nicta.
9,000 points. Thanks, Nicta. She reads the Bible, apparently.
Yeah, I was like, why the fuck is she quoting the Bible? It's really random and I don't know where, but
she had a lot of time. She had a lot of time on her
She read many books in her cabin, I guess.
So everybody gets on the bus. They drive away. Petra and Anacostia send to the helicopter with the help of Salva with the song Freedom by Charles Mingus playing.
Good song.
Which is a song that came out in 1964, and it's about the civil rights movement and the government's inaction to stop racial prejudice.
Yes, and like
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's perfect because it's not just that this is going to be like, it's easy to frame it as like a war because of the language and the fact that it's like army versus like other group. But really, this is a social movement is really what it is. Because of the way the witches have been put in this minority category and taken advantage of for centuries. So yeah, civil right, and that's civil rights kind of stuff. That's what Nikta was trying to do, you know. So it's such a fitting song, and the lyrics are so great because it's basically saying like freedom for me, freedom for you, my family, my friends, and that's really the note that this fugitive gang and like Anacostia and Petra, that's really what they're ultimately they united for, that freedom for us, freedom for the witches. So beautiful song choice.
Beautiful song choice, and I love that it's one of his that has the spoken word element to it. Because I'm a hoe for poetry.
Yeah, it's really great. If you haven't heard it, go listen to the full song. Like
listen to the full song. There's an extended version too that came out later. Love it.
Yeah,
wonderful,
perfect.
Even if you don't like jazz, listen to it.
Yeah, go listen to it. That's your homework in the hiatus. Go listen to the song.
Yeah. Exactly. And like actually listen to it and read the lyrics.
Yeah, read the lyrics. Agreed. Unfortunately, the episode doesn't end here.
Sorry, I had a little...
I know. Because Laura Neal was in the writer's room. And she's like, listen, you can't end it there. This is too gay and happy. Let's crush everyone. So then we get this scene with VP Silver in a jet on the way back to DC, his government jet. At the expense of the taxpayers. Revoke his budget, first of all. And he's in there.
Revoke him, period.
Yes, throw him in the trash. And he's watching footage of his daughter prior to her interview from the camera crew's perspective. So we got Penelope's point of view of this scene in the last episode when some dude with Albin's voice was fiddling with her uniform. He pinched her somehow, even though he's fixing a uniform, said whoops, and then left. We get the flip side of this, which was the camera crew apparently filming this. And it's confirmed that this was Albin in a hat who infected her with the witch plague. Shocking. VP Silver looks like hell in this scene, and good, fuck him. You should. And he's basically tormenting himself by like watching this over and over and over again. Indicating that on some level he didn't care about his daughter, but fuck him. Albin is on the jet with him, confirming what we've been speculating and already kind of knew, is that like Albin was cahooting with the Vice President of the United States. The Camarilla has successfully infiltrated the United States government, and they have the Vice President in their pocket. I have to note that Albin is wearing his Camarilla red suit, which is amazing, and Bob loves this outfit. It's stunning. There's that positive, because this scene is mostly trash, but good job, guys. And in this scene, Albin sits down and they're like sharing whiskey, and he tries to refocus Silver's grief on the bigger picture. And he's like, hey, your sacrifice was not in vain. Like, your sacrifice, not your daughter's sacrifice. You using your daughter as an extension of you and sacrificing her for the Camarilla, it's not going to be in vain. Indicating that they're definitely in cahoots. And VP Silver says, the dawn will be glorious upon the earth. Here's another Bible quote. This is a modified version of Isaiah 60:20. And the full line says, like, for behold, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the people. But the Lord will rise upon you, and his glory will appear over you. Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. And basically what he's saying by this is like, hey, one small sacrifice for me is like gonna lead us to victory in the end. Like, I'll get over it. And Albin agrees. He's like, yes, your sacrifice was for the greater good, which is freeing the world from the stain of witches. That's like the light, according to them. So this is their belief and point of view. And apparently after hearing this, Silver is over his grief and says, well, it had to be done. And Albin says, you'll go down in history as a hero. And Wade? She's the one that's going to take the fall for all of this. She will pay the ultimate price for her collusion with the enemy. How does that sound, Mr. President? And like, yeah, they were setting Wade up to take the fall because remember, who's the one that signed the testing centers That was Wade, not VP Silver. VP Silver's on record being like, I don't agree with this. But Wade's the one that signed that. Wade's the one that made it possible for like Penelope to get recruited. And this tragedy wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for her. So basically they're manipulating the situation to get rid of the president and put their guy in charge of the country and cause chaos. And the way this dialogue goes, it's like they're in this jet rewriting the history book right here and now. Albin's basically saying, when we win, we the Camarilla, we will tell the story this way. You'll be framed as the hero who made the ultimate sacrifice. You sacrificed your daughter, your flesh and blood for the greater good, to rid the world of evil. It's very like biblical and like binary, and it's like black and white, the way they're going to frame and spin this whole story. And appropriately, eerie string music starts playing at the end of the scene. And we venture back to Fort Salem, deep below the earth, and follow the mycelium hyphae all the way to the center. And there in the center is Alder, becoming less and less tree-like before our eyes. So it appears that the mycelium is healing her. And her eyes open, and boom, it ends. And in the After the Storm, Lynn describes this little scene as Alder's rebirth, and describes this as Alder's becoming complete and like one with nature, and is in this state of healing. So this isn't the last we're going to see of Alder. So there's hope, I guess, is the hopeful note that it just ends on. And that's Revolution, part 1.
Thank hell it didn't end on those asshats, because I would have been mad. We got Alder being healed in the mycelium. I'm here for it. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road. I love it.
Love it. I mean, I hate the plane scene, but I love Alder bit.
Yeah, listen. Also, they can't drink whiskey because that's Alder's. You can't.
I know, fuck you. That's her drink. I would have liked it better if their plane crashed, but, you know, that's not what happened.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
Yeah.
Like, this is the time for freaking mountains to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, where's the storm in the sky going after this plane, Petra?
Hell yeah. I mean, here's your union of Earth and Sky. So, Abigail, make the plane, like, fly off course right into a mountain that Adil and Khalida make.
Oh my god, yes! And it could have ended right there, and I'd be like, you know what? Yes.
You know what? There we go.
Boom.
Okay, I accept that ending.
Oh, and Alder's back? What a bonus.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Oh, yeah, that is the season 2 finale. So good.
So good.
So good.
And also, I love the gang being fugitives there's so many possibilities of this being awesome.
I know. And Nicta's gonna be around. That makes me so happy. Yes.
We're gonna get a lot of Nicta. We're gonna get a lot of the gays. We're gonna get a lot of
gangs all together.
Some backstory about characters.
Yeah, we'll get to see what Petra's army looks like, which is also interesting. And if Alder comes back and comes out of that mycelium, how the fuck is that going to change things? So, a lot of exciting stuff and potential for season 3.
And we're going to have a big episode to talk about all of that.
Oh, so many things. If there's anything you want us to talk about when it comes to season 3, or if you have any theories, hypothesis, anything at all, please send them to us. Now is the time to speculate wildly. And
yes,
we will speculate wildly.
Send them on the Twitters, send them on the Discord. If you're in it, if you're not in it, come join us. It's on my Twitter profile.
Send it to the Insta, however the fuck you want. I will try to find it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we want to hear it.
We want to hear it. Yeah, this is the time. We have, they just wrapped up filming, and, we're in the hiatus time where it's getting closer. So now is the time to talk about these things.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to have some special episodes that we're excited about.
Yes.
And then for now, let's just do a little recap of the episode. So, the base is under attack by the Camarilla. Tally is from Pitch Perfect by giving them the key to getting rid of the Camarilla silencing devices. Alder gets grooted, and the biddies are killed by witch plague.
These are all facts, but I love it. Being described like this.
We hear about the Union of Earth and Sky for the first time. Everyone's confused except for Albin, who's just, keeping the spoilers in his own little head. Dramatic little queen. Petra lets Nick fight. Khalida has to kill a man to save her brother, and she finally gets it. The Dodgers are planning for war too. So we've got, the other militia we've got.
Yeah.
The Sapphic Vapors go through the phone with Raylla.
Sapphic Vapors are everywhere this episode. It's great.
I'm surprised. Why do you think Isadora had to bring us back so many times?
Right. Isadora was busy. The background.
The unit is arrested by the feds. Petra tries to reason with Kelly, but comes away knowing the unit's going to be the scapegoat, and now everybody's just going to be against the witches. They call in Cilla to rescue everyone, again, with the help of Adele and Khalida. Raylla is back.
Because Cilla saved everyone's ass, as promised.
Nicta is going to help protect the fugitives and be very awkwardly gay on the bus.
Yes.
And road trip!
Road trip with Quinn, who got roped into this.
Road trip with Quinn, and then assholes being assholes. Silver's going to be president because they're going to knock Kelly off. And Alder's alive in the mycelium and being healed.
Yeah. That's where we're at, basically.
Yep. I rate the level of gay in this episode at a 10.5.
Yeah, it's so good. It's really good. This was the gayest episode to date. I love it.
I just don't know. The third season's gonna blow our heads off, I feel like.
I hope so.
In that regard.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Bring it on, Elliot. That's all I'm saying.
Bring it on. We can't handle it, but we will do our best.
We cannot handle it. Isadora's gonna be really busy next season. Off screen.
Exactly. We've been starved for
Ever.
for our entire
Forever.
lives of this content. Correct. So give it over. We're trusting you.
Gay stuff, please.
We're trusting you with our gay stuff.
Yes. You got this. Alrighty. So, the biggest witch energy award.
I had so much trouble. I still don't know. I still have problems.
I mean, we all have problems. But who's the ultimate winner?
The unit.
The unit?
Couldn't pick.
Okay. Fair.
I wanted to pick Cilla, but I feel like that's partially my...
I mean, I picked Cilla because she saved everyone's ass again.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one that's like, okay, Cilla again because she's saving everyone's ass. But
no, that's the answer for me.
That's the natural answer, so I'm just gonna fucking change it. It's Cilla, Big Witch Energy.
It's Cilla, it is. That's the answer. She saved everyone's ass with homemade magic. The government fucking called her. Think about this. The government is the top military people are like, Cilla, we're fucked. We need you.
Get in here, girl.
Get in here. Fix this. And then she does. And then is humble as fuck about it. And gets the girl in the end. So let us all once again bow down to Queen Cilla, Big Witch Energy Ramshorn. We are bowing to you, ma'am. You had, yeah, you like that, huh? Come on. She wins. She just wins. It's Cilla. Cilla Ramshorn.
Oh my god, I love it.
There were many honorable mentions, including the whole unit and Alder and Nicta and everybody basically that wasn't Albin and VP Silver. Even M for
or Kelly.
Yeah, or Kelly. And with that, we've been Big Witch Energy. If you like this episode, check out all of our other episodes right here on YouTube. Please comment below, and subscribe for more amazing content. Hydrate for Lesbian Jesus.